What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This is Conversations with King, and I have the beautiful ladies with me, the beautiful flowers. I have Mayat, I have Wana, I have Jen, I have Hanifa. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we are super happy. I love doing the shows on Tuesday because they force me to get dressed up. I put cologne on you, I can't even smell it. I just get all dressed up like I'm going out, and I appreciate it because they come ready to play, and they come ready to keep it spicy and also educate us on many topics. Please go and share this page with everybody else that you know, friends or foes. I don't care because we want everybody to be educated, everybody to be informed, and everybody to be entertained. I truly appreciate everybody that's coming to the room right now, and we are going to have a great show. But before we start the show, we want to have every lady introduce themselves and let them know that, the world know that you're happy to be here tonight. Starting with Mayat.
Peace, Garden. I'm happy and excited to be here. And welcome to the show.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Hey everyone. Of course I'm excited and I'll every time I'm on King's show I feel like $1,000,000 after I leave because he like blows my head up beyond the screen. So and I love these ladies, so I can't wait.
Yes, yes, yes.
Peace, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm ready to have the conversation. And peace to all the ladies on the panel. You guys look beautiful today. King, you look handsome.
Oh, wow.
Not that you needed
Thank
to be
you.
told, but you look
Right.
handsome, King.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to say thank you for having 2020 vision. Right. Right.
Wait, honey, if I don't see what you see.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
What's up, everybody? You already know On the Block with Jen. Subscribe. This show is gonna be fuego, and the after show is gonna be even better. Okay,
Super,
we're gonna
super.
party. We're gonna party on this one. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna learn some things. Some feelings may or may not be hurt, but you know what I say: when you log off, you're gonna go back to your family, your dinner, and your laundry. So keep it light. Welcome.
Keep it light. Keep it light. Shout out to Lauren Melissa. You had an amazing show last time. I was just bragging to the girls. You really made like $1,200 off of male ego. Shout out to you.
We need
Shout
some
out to
people
you.
over here.
Right, right, right. And then shout out to Harrison Family Vlogs. We appreciate you. I don't know. Hopefully, the ladies want you up tonight to help discuss certain things. If they do, we're letting you up while this ladies' night. But we love you. I hope you did good on your paper that was due, and we appreciate you. Continue to support the ladies, and that means the world to us. Thank you so much. Roll call. Anybody in the chat room? The Guardian want to say what's up to before we begin the discussion.
I want to say what's up to everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is good to see you. Gentlemen, if you've ever had your tires slashed, you will appreciate this episode. So glad you're here.
Shout out to Lover Boy Linsky for holding it down in the chat room. He's become this dynamic moderator, so I just kind of wanted to shout him out.
Supermodel. He's a supermodel. I appreciate him for real. So ladies, I'm gonna start off real hot right now. And I've been having a dilemma having this discussion with a few ladies that I've been talking to. And I asked them this one question. And the question goes like this. If you had to choose what you would want to be in a man's life or what you would want him to be in your life, which one would you choose? Would you choose being the first, last, or only? First, last, or only? Example, it doesn't have to be sex. It could be her first husband or first trip to Paris or first kiss. What would you want to be? What holds more weight in your life? Someone being your first, your last, or your only?
Only.
Thank you so much. Only?
I'm gonna say only.
Wow. Why? That's kind of hard, right? If you're talking about like sex, right? The virginity, you can't if you need a virgin for that one. But other things I can see
Don't
that.
be a virgin, especially at this age.
Right, 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 right. But why only? Why only?
Um, Only because you I mean, we're hypothetically speaking, because you don't have to, you'd be the only thought, the only memory, the only idea, the only.
Mm, mm.
Like, you know
That's
what's
kind of
what this is gonna sound crazy.
right,
Gonna sound nuts, but
right.
my perfect relationship is, have you guys watched the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio and all of them? Remember when they
Yeah.
went down to the dreams, like all the way down to the bottom, and it was just them two and the whole world was empty?
Hmm.
That's my ideal relationship. Just me and him, nobody else on the planet.
Wow, wow. That's kind of yeah. That's kind of um. So, Juana, would you want to be a man's first, last, or only? And before you go, I'm so fixated in being a woman's first.
Mm.
I love setting the precedents. So then every other guy after me has to live up to that standard or that measuring tape. So I love being the first. But to be the only, that's a lot of pressure. But go ahead, Wanda.
Wait, so tell me why you think that's a lot of pressure? Because I'm getting clarity on what you mean by only.
Well, only she said only because it's like, who are you comparing someone to? How do you know I'm the best if I'm your only?
Only. Okay, I see what you're
Right?
saying.
How do
Mm-hmm.
you know I'm the best? Right? So
But the
that's why I
first,
said, go
being
ahead,
the
go ahead.
first is easy to eclipse, though.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, give me an example. Outside of sex. Outside of sex. What if I'm the first to take you to Paris
Mhm.
or Cayman Islands? How does someone top that?
Somewhat, yeah.
Easily, like if you're living the rest of your life and you were the first person to take me to Paris or the Cayman Islands, I mean, the next guy could rent out the entire island just for me and him. Like, it's easy. The
Mm.
first is easy to beat, in my opinion.
Okay,
Like, you
let
can
me
go
ask you a question.
from
Okay,
there.
go ahead. Let me ask you a question. But have you ever had a first something in your life, ladies,
Mm-hmm.
that no one can ever top? I think every woman has that one thing that first someone did it for you first, and no one else could live up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's thinking about it. You had,
Sexually.
huh?
Sexually, yes.
Right. And no one has ever lived up to it. And it's like, that's like the biggest conquest for me. Like, I did it to you first, and you could never find anybody better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Right? Or let's keep it simple. I was your first person you had a child with. No one could top that. No one could top that.
I
No?
don't know about
I
that.
see where you're going. I see where you're going with that. I see where
Right.
you're
I don't
going.
know about that.
Okay,
But that
Juana.
don't mean anything. You know what? I want to be his last. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you why. I want him to experience all those other things and then get a whiff of me and be like, nah, that's none of that meant nothing. But I want him to have that other experience first so he can be like, like you it. This is it. I don't need nothing else after this. But at least he got it out the way, because with men, y'all gotta get it out the way. Because if y'all ain't got it out the way, we just gonna feel it throughout the entire relationship. So I
Mm.
think that, I like the idea of being somebody's last, like, and
Can I
and
challenge
and
that? I want to challenge that.
Yeah, challenge that. How you feel about that?
Something. This is what comes to mind. Okay, I gotta challenge that, because usually men settle, like, for not settle per se, but the last woman they end up with is the one that, okay, you'd be a good homemaker and a good wife. You'll stay with it. But then there are those crazy chicks that he was with that you can meet in adventure and fun and sex. He's just like, you're the safe person. So you'll be
yeah.
my last. I have my fun. Let's settle in. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about being the last, where you settle down after you were fluttering about.
Mm.
I guess I'm.
Mm.
What's
I
wrong
guess
with that, Jen?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we always the last from. I mean, unless you're the first, like King said.
Right. But
Unless you're the first, you're you should be the last. I mean, that's not always the case. You're not always the last, even when you're married. But in an ideal world, when you get married, you're hoping that you're the last, and I'm looking at it from that perspective. Like, this is the last person.
There's nothing wrong with it, honey, but it's just something I overthink. So that's what
Right.
Jen's like, I don't want to be your last. Like, what? I'm doing like I'm the fallback.
Well, this
Right,
is a great question. So Mayat Hanifa, y'all hesitant right now.
I
Which one?
could answer. I'm not hesitant. I was just
Okay.
patiently waiting.
Okay.
I actually will go for last. Because yeah, I would rather be his last because I understand that people evolve with every relationship and grow, and usually and become a little bit more mature and so forth. So yeah, go ahead and get him all prepped. You know,
and ready for me.
go ahead and get him all prepped.
That's funny.
Because I don't want the pressure of being somebody first.
Right.
Like, I
I'm just like,
don't need to give you all that. Just
go ahead and do all the heavy lifting. Go ahead. Y'all got it. So by the time he gets to me, he's just like, you know what? I've been looking for you all my life. I'm ready. So
Definitely.
no, when I think last, I think growth. So I'm fine with last.
Okay.
I'm still
Mayat.
I'm still at only. Send me the alien.
Yeah, I mean,
Than anything.
I struggle with that only and last, but I will say last. If I have to pick one, it would be last. Because I feel like once they get to you and they say that you're it, they don't need anything else. They don't want to go anywhere else. That's what I want to be. I want to be the
Right.
last one.
Okay, so now here we go. I'm
Right.
taking down this rabbit hole. Get ready for this.
Okay.
Can you be a qualified husband if you are not a woman's last? See,
What?
you gotta
Say that
think
again.
about, can you be a qualified husband if you're not her last? If you think deeper, it deals with infidelity. Can you be a qualified husband if you're not a woman's last and only? Let me put that in there.
I'm still
Because
confused.
So you
can
need
you
to
be
step out.
can you be a qualified? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute, Tawana.
I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm trying to figure it out.
Could
So
you be a qualified husband if you are not a woman's last?
Can you give us like an example? So tell me what you mean.
All right. Men
Let me do it. Can I shout out Sherelle because
absolutely,
I love her.
absolutely.
And she always support us. I love her, so I just want to shout her out.
Absolutely. Sherelle's the princess. We always support her in everything she does. Meaning that men are not consistent when they get married, right? And so when men are not consistent, most women don't wait. They'll still go and do something by themselves or with their girls. Does a man who is your husband has to be the last of everything? Like, does he have to, is he responsible? Better question, is he responsible to introduce you to something? Or basically top whatever you went through before him? If you get what I'm saying. Now, that makes sense. Is he responsible to introduce you to something or love or anything within the relationship? Or is he
You're saying if the guy you marry, the last guy that you're gonna be with,
right?
You're saying, is there pressure on him to introduce you to stuff, like to be better than everybody that you dated prior?
Thank you.
Thank you. Pressure?
Thank you for translating me. Brooklyn. Thank you for translating Brooklyn. I apologize.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I would say no, because I really do think men and women, when you get to that last point where you're like, okay, yawn, I'm ready to be married and settle down. Men and women, they're kind of like, in my opinion, I don't like the word settle because it sounds negative, but they're ready to, like, I don't need this wildlife anymore. I don't need to hang with my girls every weekend. Like, you're it. You're the Netflix and chill guy. We're going to do laundry together and unclog the toilet together. And I think it's a different mindset. So
Right.
I don't think he has to be that that hot stud with the best, you know what I mean? Because you're not, that's not why you marry somebody. Those are the guys you play with and you talk to your girlfriends about. But when you
Wait,
come
hold
on,
on, girls do that? Wait, hold on. I thought only guys do that.
no,
Oh,
Wait, hold
you
on, hold on,
funny.
hold on, hold on,
You
hold on, hold
funny,
on, hold on.
King.
So,
we got the
so
BDR
y'all,
and the GDR. Okay.
wow.
We got the bad dick report and the good dick report. GDR, BDR. We
That's
got those.
funny. That's funny. That's
No, I
funny.
don't
Woman,
want to
Men are stupid.
I didn't know y'all did. I didn't know y'all talk about men like because I know men. We don't. Most men won't say it, but some men do talk about the people they've been with. But we don't say it because if it gets back out, we look like bozos. I didn't know women actually talk to other women about because I heard that they don't tell their friends about their sexual encounters because they don't want their friends to be envious or want that.
No, they say don't say that about like your boyfriend. If you're in a committed relationship
Mm-hmm.
with a man, your husband or your boyfriend, you're not going to be telling your girlfriends or your cousins or your nieces or your sisters how good he is in bed. That's different. But where how they say when we soiling our royal oats, when we're
Right.
out there, yeah, you guys get in you're in the group text. We share all kinds of pictures, talk about size, you know what I mean, feeling and stuff like that. Like if I'm not committed
Wow.
to the guy, you're in the group chat, your conversation.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yes, women
That's good
talk
to
about
know. That's
sex.
good to know.
Women talk about sex. I know men are just can't believe it, but
Right.
we like sex and we talk about it. And I mean, we talk about men. And sometimes, let me tell you what women do. Sometimes they talk about the experience and not necessarily assign it to a man. So, like, I'm talking about you, King, but
Right.
I'm not telling them that it's you, right? I'm just saying,
Right.
like, this is how I was flipped around and did it one day, and this is what happened. So, my girlfriends may know the story, but they might not know the person.
Yeah, but women are detectives. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they figure, especially if you still dealing with them. They, my friends be like, "Ah, you talking about?" But if it's like, okay, you just talking in general, it could be
Right.
whoever, But yes, yeah, we talk about. I mean, they share tricks and trades, so we exchange those things.
Right.
It happens.
Things that's so outrageous that you have to share with your girlfriends.
Yeah, and then sometimes you gotta tell the name because it's like.
Yeah,
it was just that good. You got to be like,
see, I thought y'all talked about the
has a man ever X, Y, and Z because it just happened to me last weekend. He X, Y, and Z. So some things are so outrageous we have to tell our girlfriends, but not about my man or my husband. No, sir.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But
no. Yeah.
So is it corny for me to think that my wife or my main girlfriend should be bragging about me to her girls?
Sexually?
Yeah, like my husband just satisfies me, or no?
Oh no, it's that.
No.
Oh, y'all, y'all very territorial. Y'all very territorial. Y'all territorial. I realize with the husbands, y'all mad territorial. Why?
Nobody needs to know what my husband do to me.
Right.
Assume
that your wife, you know what I'm saying, got the salt and pepper going, and all. Are you going to tell your boys that? And,
no.
And then they got to see that.
No, but I I think that it's every man's fantasy to be wanted by his lady's friends, and he's like, no, I chose you. Every man's fantasy. I think so.
Like his ladies'
friends.
I think so.
Oh
fellas.
I need some men in the chat.
Irritated.
Yeah, I think they want to be wanted, but they're not going to entertain it. But every man wants to be the man in your girl's crew. Like, I wish my husband was more like you. Every man wants that. I wish my boyfriend was moving like your man treats you. Every man wants to be that dude.
So are you okay with your woman being desired by your friends?
At what level? No, at what level? No, I want them to be like, damn. But also, I don't want them to say that she have any sisters or friends that look like her. That means they like her. When a man says, "Do you have any friends that look like you or sisters that look like you?" that means he likes your girl, right, Hanifa? Go ahead, tell him, please.
No. I agree with that.
See, I'm dry snitching now. See, I'm sorry, Tristan. I should never told him that. I apologize.
That's a compliment.
Nothing is off limits.
When a guy's friend or something, like, you know, it don't even necessarily have to be the way you look. It could just be that the way you treat his friend, he's seeing that. It could be the way you look, you know. But if a friend of your significant other is like, you ain't got no sisters, it is like almost a level of admiration. Like, you know, I like the way you move, or I
Right.
don't know necessarily mean, I don't, it could be I like the way you look, but I think it's mainly like the full package. Because no matter how you look, if they know you doing their boy dirty, if their boy is constantly talking about you, you don't clean up after yourself, you don't flush the toilet, all of that, he ain't asking you about no family members that you have, right? He might think you're cute, but he's
Right.
not asking about any references for wives. But if that's asked to you, it is a compliment. It is actually one of the higher compliments that you'll get from a friend of your significant other, because they can't come out and say, I think you're dope, you know what I'm saying, because that's out of order.
But isn't
But
that like isn't that kind of sneaky? Like, yo, if you wasn't with my man, I'll probably kick it to you.
no, it depends on how it's said as well. It really depends on how it's said. Usually guys say that even in front of your significant other. Now, if you somewhere alone and he come whisper in your ear, you better run, you know, because that means your significant other's friend is like trying to get at you, right? So
Right.
some boundaries got to be put in place. But usually that's said right in front of the person you're with, as long as if it's not disrespectful. But I agree with you, it is a compliment, very much so.
What do you think, Jen? Is that a compliment or that sneak game? That's like a sneaky way to gain or leave the
No, in front of you, it's I think it's a compliment. Behind your back is a whole different situation, right? No, but I think in front of you, it's a compliment.
Right.
And it depends on your boy too. You guys know who the snakes in your crew is. Come on.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes.
There's always that girl. You know what I'm saying? So I know a guy. There's always that guy where it's like this chick right here. You know what I mean? So I mean, you.
Okay, Mayat, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it's sneaky. I mean, just like Hanifa said, it could be the way you move. It could be the way she treats you. It doesn't necessarily have to be all about looks. So.
Okay, here's a scenario. What if he says that in front of his wife or his girlfriend? How do you handle that? Is that inappropriate? What if he says, "Hey, wow, your wife is pretty. I wish my wife would do that." The same compliment he would say if he didn't have a girl. What if he said it in front of his girlfriend? And how would you handle that?
That's jerkish behavior. Like, he's a jerk if he does that.
Men do that.
No, that's disrespectful. Yeah, that's
no man has ever. No man has ever disrespected me like that. What do you mean? You gonna
not you. Compliment you in front of his wife. It could be you're pretty.
What I'm saying
I love your dress.
I've never been in a room where a man has done that, and no man has ever done that to me. Like, complimented a woman and then asked, okay, do she got a sister or something that I'm gonna get with? Like, what are you talking about?
Has a man ever complimented you in front of his wife or girlfriend?
I have been with someone and their cousin was like, you're so sexy. Like, their cousin in front of him. And he was like,
right.
Dude. I mean, I think he kind of like checked his cousin, but it was weird because I was like, I don't, what do I say? That's your family. I don't know what to say. But I think like I've had people compliment me, but never. It's always just like you look nice, or I don't know. I've never.
In front of your husband. In front of your husband.
Oh, in front of my husband.
Because I'm kind of bold like that. I'm not to y'all.
So
I respect y'all.
But
if I see a girl, and she's with a man, the young king would have been like, you take care of her because she looks good. Just to see how he's gonna react. That's rude. But if I like a girl, I'm gonna tell you in front of her man.
King, you are petty. You are petty, sir.
That's not petty.
Out of pocket.
Mr. Kinghormeku.
But how would you handle it? How would you handle it? How, as a woman, how would you handle it?
Listen, men do that, right? So it really
Yeah.
depends on how it's said. So let me give you an example. Men will compliment you in front of your sister, but it's more like, "Hi, girl, I see you," like playing around like that. "Okay, I see you out here in the, stilettos or whatever." It's more in a joking way, even though it's a compliment, because they understand they can't just be like, "Ooh, you look sexy in those stilettos." They know that that's
Mm,
inappropriate, but they want to give you a compliment, so they end up saying it like in a joking way. It really, like, how you say what you say really matters in these situations, right? It could
right.
it could determine whether you get socked in your throat or not. Like, that's for
Right.
real. How you
But
talk to
that,
someone's wife, it's
Because I think
or girlfriend, or girlfriend, or girlfriend.
whichever
if it's
one.
inappropriate, like my husband will step in. I won't even say anything because if it's too inappropriate, he will be like, "Hey, like this ain't what you."
But
I mean, nobody has ever disrespected me to that degree, so I don't know how I would respond. But in Chicago, I'll probably just say thank you because they crazy here. Like I'll probably just be like, "Thank you, like husband, let's go." Because I mean, like they'll I don't know.
mm,
The environment here is just like different. I would not want to be like I wouldn't want to like cause a fight over something innocent unless
right.
it got inappropriate. And then like my husband knows when to intervene, but he know I can handle myself. Like if somebody just give me a compliment, I'll just be like, "Thank you," and I don't smile and I don't flirt. And I don't do nothing flirtatious. Like I don't do, I don't do nothing to make them think it's other than like, "Thank you, thank you
Right.
for that." And
Okay,
poker face,
Mayat,
poker
how do you
face.
feel about that?
About a man complimenting you in front
And
of your husband, or
right, and is it your job to stop him if he gets rude, or is it your husband supposed to step in? Because I think as long as a man doesn't touch my wife, I expect them to look at my wife because she's beautiful, right? But as long as you don't touch her and make her feel uncomfortable, then I don't really got no problem with you. Like, you feel me? Like, if you say she's beautiful, oh wow, you look good in the dress, you know what I mean?
mm,
You're supposed to say that, but I think a lot of men jump out the window, and I think the woman's supposed to be the first one to say, "Thank you, but I'm with him." What do you think?
it depends on the level. It it definitely depends on the level of how far they're taking it. Because I know when I'm in those situations, sometimes I don't know how to react to it. Um,
Mm,
and so sometimes I don't know how to react. So I'll say, I'll say thank, just like Tawana said, like I'll say thank you, or I'll try to get myself out of the situation. At if I'm feeling if he's going on, then I would want my husband to step in.
right.
It has never gotten to that point, but yeah, I would want my husband to step in if it got to that point, but I don't think it's ever gotten to that point. I have been in situations where I have felt uncomfortable though,
Okay.
and I don't
Mm,
necessarily know how to address those situations.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, that was good. I'm glad I heard some truth. I'm glad I realized I'm petty. I used to be petty. If I like somebody, I don't care who you was with. I'm stepping to you because it might be my last time seeing you, right? So
And that's
I'm
how men
stepping to you,
think. That is exactly how y'all think. And I'm
right?
like, no,
If I don't,
stop.
if oh, thank you, Mister. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, I appreciate you. That might be my last time. See, she said GDR certified. He is funny. He's talking about you, Jen.
Jen.
You heard, yeah, he's talking about you.
It's
He
so
dropped
funny.
another. He's
Oh, for
funny. They dropped it.
real?
Yeah, he said GDR. Yo, he's funny. He's funny. We gotta definitely gotta trademark that, right? Definitely trademark that. Um, I
Oh,
just
I
want
didn't I
everybody.
didn't invent it.
Oh, okay. Well, that
Right.
sounded new. It was my first time hearing it.
You're like,
My first
you're like,
time.
let's trademark
Thanks,
that. Look at
thanks for
King.
thanks for breaking me in. Thanks for breaking me in.
King trying to trademark it.
We gonna
Everything.
box later. Me and you, Mr. O, we gonna box. So you gotta
Uh-oh. Come to
come
the
to
after.
the show.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. O, we want you in the after show, please. We got a lot to talk about, and we're gonna discuss a lot of things. It's gonna be very spicy in the after show, and I'm
Oh
gonna be up
yeah.
there. I'm gonna be up there to clear a couple of things that happened yesterday. I saw everything. I'm up to date, and I want to give my opinion on it on her show.
It's
So
time. It's time. The gloves come off.
the
As
glove comes off.
Ooh.
That's it.
Ooh.
Lensky is gonna be serious. It's gonna be serious. So
yeah.
be there. So let's get to the main topic.
Yes.
This main topic. Jen introduced it. You came up with it. Everybody was loving it.
Great.
Please,
Put it on me.
right?
It was a collective, I swear.
Yo, you're
All right, so
funny.
the next topic is being digmatized. We've heard it a million times in a joking way. Every man claims they can do it,
Right.
right? Women have been, told that they act crazy after they're digmatized. So this Tuesday's topic is digmatized. Do men use sex to manipulate women?
Mm,
Dun, dun.
mm,
Do you guys do
mm.
that? Do you give the good sex to manipulate us so we act crazy? Do you guys do that?
I don't know. I don't really have sex that much. I don't have sex that much. I don't have sex. I make magic. I make people levitate. I don't think it's considered sex.
Also, so
But
you do have them digmatized, man.
yeah, yeah.
He's
So
levitating.
yeah.
Let's
So
use King. Let's start out right out the gate. Let's use King.
okay.
Say, and I'm using this because it was public and we all saw it. So I'm not putting anyone's business out there. Okay. They did it to themselves. But one of your ex-girlfriends came on to explain your relationship. And from the outside looking in, one would categorize that as, is this woman digmatized? Why is she embarrassing herself in front of all people? Like we didn't know
Right.
anything about her. Why was she
Right.
on and do this? So
Right.
what did you do to her, King? Inquiring mind.
Um. No. No. I would say it's a combination of things. Right. It's a combination of me keeping my word, being
Okay.
consistent, and also me performing at my highest form sexually, right?
Okay.
So one of my things is like I don't want a woman to need for anything else, especially outside the bedroom, because women, I really do believe that women, a way to a woman's heart is through consistency and cock. And I don't want to use that word like that. Please don't get offended. But it's because women are more sexual beings than us. They just have more dignity. They have more dignity than men, but they love sex just as much, if not more, than we do.
Well, I don't know about
So
dignity. I would say that we're raised to suppress.
is that true?
Ways to suppress from very little. If we close your legs, sit up straight, you know what I mean?
Right.
Don't sit over there. Sit. So from a very young age, it's suppressed. Our sexuality is constantly, continuously suppressed. And if we
Mm-hmm.
express it, we get called bad names. So that's
Mm.
a little different than what you
I
said. But
would say I would say it's definitely, I mean, suppress would be more like a, yeah, individual thing. I think in this society, women bodies in general, their thinking
Mm-hmm.
around sex is policed tremendously, right? So, and it's policed by men,
Mhm.
right? And like decisions around women bodies and so forth is coming from, and I'm gonna keep saying this, old crusty white men, right? And
Right.
it just trickles down
Right.
into, right, it trickles down into the rest of the society. And I agree with Jen, also the way that we are socialized from a really, really young age. It's almost like we're having a lot of sex, but we can't talk about it, right? It's a very kind of like schizo relationship that we have with sexuality in America. It's a weird thing to me. You walk outside and sex is there. But
Right.
for a woman, and even in conversations with about sex, women are still tiptoeing and being very nervous in how they discuss it. And men are just like you just said the word cock. You know what I mean?
And I lost monetization too. But I lost my shout out to Jay Javella too. Thank you for the sticker. We appreciate you. Sorry. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
had
you
to
have also like a rooster. I don't think that's considered a.
Yeah,
Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I just echoed it. I'm sorry, but
Right.
you just use that word. Like women in talking about it, they're kind of looking at, okay, should I say this word? Should I not say this word? You know what I'm saying? Because we always think we're being judged,
Right.
and we are. For the most part, we are. So women tread very cautiously around sex, and that gives men I think for men, it communicates to them that we don't like sex as much as them, which is a fallacy. And men usually finds that out soon enough. It's not true.
Right.
There's a lot of things that men believe around about sex when it comes to women that are absolutely not true. It is just assumed that that's what it is because, like Jen said, we're sort of like suppressing a lot and we're being careful how we engage around conversations, about sex. I'm sure that's happening even here on this panel right now. Like we're talking about it, but still, are we really talking about it? Those conversations Jen is talking about with girlfriends, those are the real raw conversations women have. But when
Mm.
men enter the space and it's about sex, we kind of take, we dim down quite a bit because we don't want to be judged by the male species. Because even if you're not having sex, you just talking about sex a certain type of way, men actually think that you're having a lot of it and with different people, depending on how you talk about it. So yeah, we're policed all the time around sexuality and sexual expression.
You know,
Absolutely.
you know what's funny because if you ask any man, they would tell you that sex is very important to them. But when you ask women, they get quiet about it. Is that what you're referring to? They get very like not all women would say in front of a group of men, "Hey, sex is important to me," but men would say in front of a group of women, "Sex is important." Why is that? Why are men more open about their sexuality and their sexual activity than women? You would think that women are more open now, but they're really not, right?
Well, Hanifa just explained why.
Yes,
I
she
mean, I'm
explained it.
open about it, and I think the older you get, the more fuck everybody you get, right? When you're younger, you're constantly caring about, oh my God, my mother and my aunts and what they're gonna say and what they're gonna
Right,
think. And the older you get, you're just like, fuck everybody. This is, I mean, the closer you get to death, you're like, fuck everybody. Like life is
right, right, right.
short, right? So I think sex is it's in my top three for a relationship. It's very, very extremely important because like
Top three.
top three, absolutely. Top
What
three.
are other? What are other two?
Financially stable
Right.
and appealing to me, like attractive to me. Right. Like I don't
Okay.
just running around with a gut and you know what I mean? Like attractive. But those are my top three.
Right.
Like I'm simple. People would think, oh, you're complex, but I'm very simple. Just good sex. You know what I mean? Keep your looks tight and be financially stable. So we're never out on the streets. It's pretty simple. Like
That seems simple. That seems simple.
keep those things in
Right.
order. But sex is very, very important because let's say you're not looking good or the finances are looking a little wishy-washy. If you got that GDR, I may forget that we're behind on a bill.
You're
Come on.
funny. You're funny. You're funny. You're funny.
You know
You're
what I'm saying?
funny.
Like, come on, come with it.
Right. I mean, have y'all ever forgotten a bill because a man's sex was that good, or you ever forgave him because his sex was that good?
I took in a homeless man because it was that good.
Yo, I hate you.
I'm not
Yo, so yo, y'all gotta stop her. All right. Go
listen.
talk about that.
No, yeah, Jen, please do tell. What happened,
Yeah,
Jen?
yeah, right.
No fact.
What's up, Lucky? What's up, Lucky?
Say.
Homeless. She's so funny.
Homeless. So you took in a homeless man or a man down on his luck?
I don't ain't no down on his luck. It was his lifestyle. But it's just when I met him, he was telling me that he was down on his luck. Come to find out, all the way in the relationship, it was like, oh no, this is just your lifestyle. Like down on your luck is your lifestyle. Okay. And believe
Mm,
it or not, some people down on their luck, that's their lifestyle, men and women. Like you meet somebody, right? And we're taught to be subservient and caring and nurturing. So a
right.
guy says, listen, you met me at a wrong time. I'm really feeling you, but I'm really messed up right now. And women, when they're younger and naive, sometimes older women, but when they're young and naive, they're like, oh, I'll help. right? I got some stuff. Come over here.
Right.
And yes, he was down on his, it was bad. Like I'm talking about living in a tent on the beach, bad. Like bad. Like
Mm.
bad. Like showering at 24-hour fitness. This is why I don't put up with the bullshit when men are like, oh, I need a woman that's gonna go 50-50.
Chef is funny.
I don't do 50-50. You pay everything because I did my bid. I did my time with the down and outs. I did it. Been
Mm.
there, done that. I didn't even get a t-shirt for it. So no, but the sex was by far some of the most phenomenal things I had ever gotten done to me was the homeless guy. That is the truth. We're talking about being
Yo,
stigmatized.
she's so funny.
He ain't had no responsibilities. Of course, he can put.
He don't got nothing. He just
No, hold on, hold up.
Absolutely correct.
Was
Absolutely correct.
he good, or did he do it a lot because he had no job or anything like that? Was it the frequency or the quality?
It was the quality.
Oh,
Like
Damn.
he was nuts. He was like Mr. Marcus. It was nuts. Like every day is some crazy. It was nuts.
He said Mr.
Like
Marcus?
I got this thing for like Spawn, the character,
Right.
comic book character. He would spawn out on me. He would do so good. It's like it was nuts.
How did you even meet him? You was homeless too? What? How did you meet him? How did you meet this man?
Yeah, but how did you? Yeah, like that's a fact. Like how did he even get
How did
close
you
to
meet
you?
this man?
That's a good question. That's a good
tell you
question.
something. Mother, listen, you're not going to hear these stories anywhere else but Tuesday nights, lady nights on Conversations.
That's right.
Okay,
Right.
you're not going to hear this nowhere. I'm keeping it 100. Ladies, PSA, okay? MySpace. Tawana, MySpace.
No.
That's very possible to meet somebody on MySpace. Right. I can see.
Okay. And on
Mhm.
MySpace, he looked really, really shiny and new and clean. And I was like, hey. He was like, hey. I was like, hey. He was like, hey. And to be fair, when I first met him, he had a spot, but he lost it very quickly. And I was like, oh, well,
She said he lost it quickly. He lost it very quickly.
he lost it very quickly. And thinking back now, that probably wasn't even his spot. Maybe it was a friend or something because he's very resourceful. Okay, the man was resourceful. But the sex was I would say phenomenal. Like it was crazy.
Could any of you ladies be in love with someone that's not sexually satisfying? Honestly, if he does everything for you, everything, but the sex is mediocre, could you be in love with him?
I
think you
with
can be in
someone.
love with someone. Yeah. Who? Yeah. You
Oh
can.
wow,
was with
wow.
someone who had ED.
Had a what?
ED.
What's an
Erectile dysfunction.
No.
And I was in love.
Yeah.
And so with but how so how does that work?
It didn't.
Yeah, she's crazy. No, but I'm saying how does he tell you that? Like, ladies, how does a man tell you I can't get it up?
Okay, he didn't. What happened was I was his first serious girlfriend. What he used to do was date every now and then. So what he told me was it was never an issue because he wasn't committed to anyone where he's potentially having sex every night or every weekend, right? If you see somebody every now and then and you're lightly dating, you're going to be on, it'll work that night.
Right.
But if you're dating somebody and you guys are, living together for 5 days straight, now there's pressure. So I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Right.
What's
So
happening?
He got an answer, and he's like, "When?"
And then he explained to me the situation.
Like, I got a problem. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you said I got a problem?
No,
That's crazy.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm pretending.
Yeah, but that's like, for a minute say I got a problem.
Say again?
For a minute say I have a problem, that is like kind of embarrassing.
Oh, it was
now,
hard. But I was with him 3 years. It was terrible. And I would tell him, like, go to, go see a doctor about it, but he was in law enforcement and he didn't want it on his record, so he was trying to find other ways around it, because when you're, you know, a lieutenant, you know,
Right.
everything goes, when you go see their doctors and whatever, everything is,
Right.
Really?
yeah,
Really?
A
yeah,
lieutenant?
yeah. So he
Why
was,
can't there be a HIPAA? Why is it not a HIPAA clause even for?
he didn't want it anywhere on record, so he would try like other stuff,
Interesting.
like um like the
Horny
blood
What?
goat? Did
pills
he
and
try horny goat?
Viagra, because this was years ago. So I'm sure by now, but you know, Viagra started popping and all of that.
Right.
So I'm sure his new girlfriend is, I guess, satisfied. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. So let me ask you a question. In regards to manipulation of sex as a tool that men use, what are some of the things that women have to be aware of a man that uses sex for manipulation? What are some of the things?
I think what Hanifa made a great point, and from my experience, my situation with the guy that was phenomenal, he really didn't have much else to offer, and he wanted to do it a lot. So it was kind of like a drug. It was like, hey, don't look at that bill over there. Come over here. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry
Right.
about that. You know what I mean? And it was a constant like sexual. It was like a sexual relationship. But because, like we discussed before, women are sexual beings. So when you meet
Mm,
someone that frees that inside of you, when you've been suppressed your whole life and had a strict dad, and you know, you got don't get pregnant, though you're constantly hearing that your whole life. And here comes this sexual monster to free everything you've ever thought of and ever wanted to do. It's like you get hooked on that. And
right.
so that's one thing to look out for. If that's his main focus and one of the main things that he wants to do constantly, it's like, okay, are we gonna go outside eventually? Are we gonna go to the movies or something? Like, so that's one thing to look out for.
Mm.
You
That's
want the
Anybody
man,
else?
you want the man to spend money he ain't got, talking about the movies and outside.
Right.
That's why
Right.
he was inside. And that's somebody he he was using his gift. That's what it is. He was using whatever he know works for him, and
Hmm.
he ain't had nothing else going for himself.
it was quite a gift.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, you know, I've never been in a situation where we're using the word stigmatized here. I've never been in a situation like that. However, I do
Right.
know I do know, as far as, like, you
Your
know,
chat is going off.
yeah,
Right.
where certain what do you call it, hormones or whatever, chemicals are released
Hmm.
in the body and so forth. I do understand how that works as far as the mind and the brain and all of that. You get aroused, the brain then releases certain chemicals. Oxytocin is a big one, right? Everybody know about
Right.
that one. That's
Right.
like the bonding one, the love chemical, where people say we
Hmm.
make in love, where, you know, you're making love, you're actually creating oxytocin that's going into the body, and other things, dopamine, all of those things.
Hmm.
um you know, there's studies out there that talk about, like, the brain, when
Right.
if you look at the brain when someone is having an orgasm, it's not that much different than someone that's high on drugs like heroin or something like that. It's no different,
Right.
right?
That's
So
a fact.
yeah, it's real.
No, it's a
And
fact. That's a fact.
so for me, and I'm sorry for the brothers who may have thought that they had somebody, you know, wrapped around their phallus. Um, it ain't about your phallus, you know. It's about the feelings that she get, and the chemicals that she release when she connects with you. So it's not just about, you know, I don't want to minimize men to their phalluses, but
Right.
it is more than that. So, like, even though Jen was given the story with the guy, it's not just about sex, right? It's about what he does when you're having sex with the person. So the brain is responding to that and sending
Wow.
messages to the body, and the body's like, I like this. So let's say you having a bad day, you know, now you go in your mind and it's like, I need to feel better. The homosexual that Jen was with, dude, you know, even though he ain't had no house, her
Right.
mind is like, let me call Jerome up, because I need a pick me upper, right? Because
Right.
the body now is not craving Jerome's phallus, the body is craving is wanting to release those chemicals that Jerome causes Jen to release. That's what it is. It's a craving more than anything. So I know this is probably going to deflate some brothers who just know they had like the biggest of the biggest thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they had the mean machine and all of that. But it's not necessarily your phallus, sir. Okay, it has more to do with the chemistry in her body and how that reacts when you guys connect more than anything else. And of course, it has to be pleasurable because the body is responding to the pleasure. So then when we get addicted, that's addiction, and we addicted to all different types of things. People never factor in that sex is a vice, just like alcohol, just like drugs, right?
Right.
It is a vice as well. So some people may decide that, you know, I'm going to do sex might be my thing versus smoking weed or whatever that is. So I'm going to go, but you don't just want sex. Most of the time you want the best sex, the person that makes you feel the best when you connect with them on that level. And so you're going to choose Jerome, who live in a cardboard box, right, over Tyrone.
I love his song, his name.
Yeah,
Jerome. Who
has a mansion, because the brain is not thinking about security at that time. The brain is thinking about the body wants to be pleased. So, you know, dude that live in the mansion, he gonna have to wait. We going for the dude that live in the cardboard box, not because of his phallus again, but because of the chemistry and what happens in my body. I am now addicted to that feeling. So I know I said a whole lot, but yeah.
No, that was
for me, good D is different from being digmatized. And
okay.
I will differentiate that because like good D is like that strong bond connection, that intimacy that's so deep. It's like that and I may even have an emotional connection to you. That's what makes it so good. That good D is not being digmatized, because being digmatized is unhealthy. It is often, it's like you kind of do things that you wouldn't normally do because you're so craving, like she said, under this like hypnosis almost, because you're like tied to this person because they have some kind of sexual chemistry with you that has like flipped and changed something in you, right? And it's not typically women who are mentally sane. So I'm gonna say that to y'all, because I'm gonna tell y'all that when they get like that, they have some things that they're trying to heal, and they're using you as this way to, it's therapy for them for some reason. It's not a mentally sane woman who's digmatized. She has some trauma. And I'm not saying that she is meant like she needs psychiatry or therapy, or maybe, but what I'm saying is that there is some other issues happening that makes her vulnerable and makes her open and make her, and it have y'all seen Thin Line Between Love and Hate? Like, it technically don't even really have to be like, oh, he's the best sex I've ever had. It is something else that triggers in them that makes them feel like this is mine. It belongs only to me. I don't want any other woman to have him. And I will do everything to prevent him from sleeping with somebody else. It's like only me. And like, that is a sickness.
Well,
like,
you said the word. You said the word only. You said only.
There you go. That only word. And it's like a sickness. Almost, it's unhealthy. It's almost unhealthy for you, for the woman, because she will fixate on you. She is addicted, and it will turn into. And sometimes men don't even recognize it right away. Y'all don't even know. Like she DMing your women, your girls who you like pictures. She's like,
that happened to me.
She's behind the scenes investigating, thinking about you 24/7, doing all these crazy things, because she has this unhealthy fascination, and it's not cute. It's not something that you like. Eventually, men start to hate it, just like he did in Thin Line Between Love and Hate, when he was like, "This ain't right." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted it. He did all that for it, and then when she finally got it, it turned into an obsession. And so you got to be careful. And then sometimes, and all it is the sexual relationship, because really she probably don't like you for real. I mean, like for real, she probably don't. You probably not even like a good person. You don't, you don't communicate well. You probably inconsistent.
Damn.
You're probably a terrible person. You probably don't take
Damn.
her. Like it's got to be like, like I don't even do nothing for this woman. Why she so? You got to know that it's something else beyond just like that. So I think like to me, it's unhealthy. It's not like, oh yeah, like I'm digging, like that's cute. Like I think we make fun of it. Like we think, like we make light of it, and
Right.
in some cases. But like I'm not slashing no tires and busting out no windows. Like I don't do all that. But there is some people who go to that extreme for a guy who they don't really know like that.
Because Tawana, you have to think of people who are on drugs, right? They will steal from their families to get that hit.
Whoa.
Okay. They will steal
Whoa.
from their families. So really what I'm fighting you over is that I refuse to let you have access to my hit. This is my hit. I need to be able to get it when I don't need you in the way. This is my hit.
Mm.
And the other thing too is that there's like a drunkenness involved in this as well. For example, ladies, you ever been with someone and we're talking about that addiction, and when you sober up, you finally realize that his eye is crooked. It's been crooked. It's been crooked for the 3 years that you've been with them. It's been
She's
three
talking about
three
me.
years.
She's talking about me.
No, I'm not talking about
Go
King,
ahead.
stop it. It's not. It's been 3 years. That same crooked eye been there. That's the same crooked eye you've been looking at him in.
Right.
I see you, boo. But now you sober up. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I did not realize you were so unattractive, though, right? All of this is a part of the chemistry going on in your body. All of it. So that's why sometimes people take time away. This thing is so real, right? There's withdrawal symptoms involved. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
You be home damn near about to scratch your skin off, trying not to pick that phone up and call that person. Because now the body's like, yo, we need a hit. We need a hit.
Right.
Call Jerome.
And I
Call
mean,
Jerome.
there's less intense reactions, like women who separate from their friends and who really just kind of like can't focus on anything.
Hold on. We need more like, because people are really
Oh
watching
yeah.
this. It went to 75, went back down. People are watching it. So please give more likes. These ladies are spitting and getting to the truth of digmatized. And after you answer, can you tell us, somebody made a good point. Is it really being matized, or is it attachment issues? Is it misdiagnosed?
I think
Right?
it's
Because
both. I think it's both because he's using his penis to do it. He's penetrating you. So it's both. He can't do it without penetrating you. You can't be stigmatized without a dick, right? But you develop attachment issues. But let me tell you, Tawana and Anifa, when I tell you, you are hitting it on the head, you are hitting it on the head. I was always very strict about not being someone who drank or did drugs or smoked cigarettes. So I wasn't familiar with addiction and what happens to your body and your mind. I thought it was a relationship, but I was like Tawana said, I started not hanging out with my friends. I started losing weight. I started needing that hit. I was like, I need, where is he? Where is he? Like, and it wasn't healthy. And you're absolutely right. When I became sober, I went through the withdrawal first. I was like, I don't even care who he's with right now. I just need to feel this thing. And then I became sober. And then you start, the fog is gone. And you're like, ew, you look like a black rabbit. Like you're not even
Right.
attractive. Like,
Exactly.
what is going on? And my friends would tell me, you don't look the same. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, and then once I was like almost cleaned out and out of money, now I'm asking my friends, hey, I was kind of wondering, we kind of need, you know what I mean? Just and it became like, and I was like, oh my God, I sound like someone who's on drugs right now. What is happening? So you do go, it's that bad. You do go through withdrawal. And the thing is that, like Tawana said, you have to face it. What the was wrong with me, right? That I fell into that, never having a vice, right? Never having any type of addiction. So I'm like, what the hell? It's the first time that happened to me. So I was like, what is this? What is this thing?
Right.
And then, thankfully I got out of it. But looking back, I was like, oh, it was most certainly an addiction. Most certainly, because it made no sense. It wasn't even love. It's like it made zero sense. I just needed it and I wanted it, and I was like, it's mine, and it's 3 o'clock. Where is it? And I haven't gotten it today, and it was crazy.
That's why
Yeah.
I always say to King, when we have to be careful when we start to bond with people out of deficits, because it's
Right.
not
Right.
just, yeah, it's not just necessary. We talk about chemistry in the body now and addiction, but
Right.
sometimes there are other factors at play, right? It could be trauma, it could be the need for love, but not really understanding what that looks like, like almost like a misinterpretation of what love is. It could be a lot of different factors. But I know for a fact it's never just about the phallus. It's not. It's just not. And this is important to say because, like, you're gonna have young people. Jen, you have a daughter. Like, you're gonna have people in their 20s, and these women are gonna go through this, right? And
Right.
somebody needs to be able to, like, really tell them the science behind what they're experiencing, because we hear know thyself a lot, right? And it's not just about knowing your history. It's also knowing your biological makeup, knowing the science behind how your body functions and how the brain functions. All of these things are important as far as knowledge of yourself goes, right? And so
Right.
that's why I'm putting it out there. It feels like it's the phallus. It feels that way, right? And that's the what do you call it? The phallus is just the mass. You think that's what it is because you don't understand. Like Jen said, now she knows. But in that moment, you don't understand what's really happening in your own body, right? And so you're like, oh my gosh, this dude is everything, and his package is even more, right? And so, and that's why I'm glad we're having a conversation and pointing even to addiction. Jen is speaking like, okay, I was an addict, straight up and down, right? And so you have a lot of women and men, but mostly women, because the hormones that we're talking about, it's not that men don't have them or release them. Women just release them way more. So we tend to attach more when it comes to intimacy, and so forth. So there's a lot of people out there that's judging other people as far as you're alcoholic, you're a drug addict, and
Right.
they cannot shake the dusty guy that they keep going back to, right?
Right.
And that is an addiction. But the funny thing is that they don't even put themselves in that category. So it was very important. Like, I felt like it was important what Jen was saying, because we have to see it and call it what it is. Like, there is something going on in your body, not just attachments, not just your attachment style, not just trauma, not just the size of his phallus. What they say is not the size of the boat, but the
In the ocean.
Motion is ocean. Yeah.
it's
The
not
motion
just
is ocean.
the motion in the ocean. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination, an amalgamation of
Mm-hmm.
all of it. But a lot of it just has to do with the brain and body communicating and function. And it's a hit. It's a hit. It's a hit. And now,
And baby, it was
Well,
good. Like it was
Oh,
well,
it's
just
true.
I was
It's
gonna say, Jen,
go ahead, sorry.
on a light note, sometimes some of the good deeds just make you not want to think rationally. Like, you just want to do it because it's like, why am I gonna mess up this good thing? Like, I'm not gonna talk about nothing serious. I ain't gonna require much of him
Right.
because I just want to keep this communication going because it makes me feel so good. Like, and it's a light thing, and that you can, people lightweight be like, he must got something in his, he might want to bottle that up and sell it because it's that good. Because it's
Right.
like, well, I'm not gonna look, I'm gonna act like I don't see that. He flirting with other girls. I'm gonna act like I don't see that because I just want to keep on. And your girlfriend's trying to tell you, like, girl, he doing it. Like, you don't want to hear it because you already know what's going on, but like, you don't want them to know that you know that already, and like,
Right.
you're making a decision to keep doing it, even though he's not completely 100% authentic and
Right.
and right. Like, it, but sometimes it is that sexual attraction and that sexual chemistry that is hard to come by. It's not easy to connect with someone on that type of level.
Right. Well,
It is.
I've
so let
loved
me
people, like I've loved people, been in a relationship, and I didn't feel, although I loved them, I didn't feel that fire when I saw them walk in a room, right?
Mhm.
Or when they took their clothes off, even if they had a nice body. I didn't feel that fire. For some reason, this dude knew how to tap into that fire. He was that drug, right? It's like if I'm an alcoholic and I drink water, it quenched my thirst, but it didn't make me feel like that Moscato, right?
Right.
And that's what I went. And that's what I went through
Right.
with him. And I think because we're
Mm.
teaching, and I am recovered fully,
Mm.
right? Since we're teaching, another thing to look for also is he asked me a lot of questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes people ask you questions to see what the deficit is, like what was missing over there, so
Mhm.
they can fill it and hook you. And that's what happened because ED came before the crazy D. And I told him
Mm.
a lot about ED.
Mhm.
So,
So
crazy
here's
D.
my rule. Here's my
Oh,
rule. You never give them a blueprint to your life.
I
Like,
sure did.
never tell them everything. Because men, I'm
Can
sorry,
you tell
King.
me? Would you tell me
Y'all
everything?
are so
Why don't you tell me
calculated.
everything?
Natural for
No, we
y'all to be
are. We
rational
are.
and calculate. Like, it's
Yeah.
natural for men to like memorize everything and
Everything.
absorb it and like
Everything.
and do what they have to do to get what they want from you. So if you tell them the things that you didn't get, like when I first got divorced, because I was divorced, like I was married 10 years and I got divorced. And I was like, I was missing this, I was missing that. Like I came into the dating scene all naive, like telling people all this stuff, and they were doing that in the beginning. So I was like, oh, these men are like so cool.
Wow.
Like what? They just like they doing all this stuff. And as soon as they get whatever they want from you, they flip and turn into like who they really are. And so I was like, what am I doing wrong? But I go to the next guy, I'm telling him, oh yeah, yeah, this is what I like, this is what I like. He's doing everything. Eventually I'm like, wait a minute. Like they just doing everything that I told them I was missing in
Mhm.
the previous relationship and like showing me everything that, like that what 80-20 rule, right? Everything you were missing and you really wanted and you really valued and you felt like you weren't getting enough of it. I felt like I was on an emotional connection with men where I was telling them those things and they were doing exactly what I was telling them. And I was like,
Mm.
And that's
yeah,
what
I caught
happened to
on
me.
to game real quick. Like, y'all, oh yeah, I see what y'all doing.
That's what
Like
happened.
once I stopped telling them, then they start disappointing. Like, oh, so you like they not gonna do it naturally. So I was like, oh, okay. So it wasn't until I learned like not to do that.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Like
If
he was like, "Oh, you was with a guy for 3 years
Right.
and it didn't work." Easy. I
let me
got
ask
Easy.
you let me
you.
ask you a question. So we talked about the physical aspect and the science behind being baptized. Is there any spiritual component? Is there any spirituality that deals with people being addicted to sex from a particular person? Right? Because because I feel like someone said sexually transmitted demons, not even diseases, but demons, soul
Mm.
ties. Is there any spirituality in regards to sexuality between men and women?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's a spirit. I mean, you can't separate sex from the spiritual. Like it's a spiritual experience. And so that energy is being transferred. So you're not only transferring, like a lot of times when we say transfer energy, we don't understand the magnitude of what that means. That means
Mm,
that energy of what that person, like our thoughts are energy, our our feelings, our emotions, all of those that's energy, and that's being transferred to that person. So that person, a lot of times, that's why a lot of times they'll say to young girls who have just had their first experience, and they'll say that they'll see that change come over and over
mm-hmm,
that person, over that girl, and then she is starting to get those. Now she is like uh, a rabbit dog in a sense. Now
mm-hmm,
she's wanting it more and more because that energy that she just got from maybe that person who was more experienced, that energy is now on her, and now she wants it, and the hormones are at play as well, that maybe there was, lots of things are at play, just like Hanifa said. Lots of things are being combined, but we can't separate the spiritual from that, because that's why people who are in relationships or in committed relationships, they end up, there's things like tantra that people do that is
Right.
connecting you on a spiritual level, so that you can have a deeper connection. But if you are doing that with different people or lots of different people, you have to at some point get rid of. You
Somebody
have to
music in the background. Somebody's music.
I'm
Music is
sorry,
in the
that's me.
background. Oh, okay.
You have to
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point figure out how to get rid of those, just like he said, those sexually transmitted demons. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to get that energy, you have to cleanse your energy of that. And I talked about stuff like that on my channel, just different things that we use as drugs. We use sex as drugs, we use food as drugs, we use all
Mm-hmm.
of this as drugs that we are trying to cope with whatever traumas in our life. So, I mean, when we're talking about anything that we experience, like in spirituality, we can't separate the two. Like they're,
So you say it's not obsession, it's possession. Being
yeah,
spiritually possessed is really being matized, right? Can we
yeah,
say that they're being
yeah.
possessed, or is it basically a physical obsession? I'm trying to like because I see what you're saying.
It's a combination of all of those things. So
Mm-hmm.
you are having that energy transfer, but
Right.
you are also having that, you also get that obsession because of those emotions that are generating during those acts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, and especially because a lot of people use sex as a a boost, and so they're trying to get that. And so after they have that sex, that, like you said, that oxytocin, that dopamine hit, now they have that dopamine hit, and now they're trying to keep going after that time and time again. And so it's it's one of those things where you can't separate it from the spiritual, you can't separate it from the physical. You're now obsessed with this person, and sometimes it's not even sex. You don't even need sex, you just want to be around that person. You just want to see what that person's doing. You want to drive by that person's house and be like, what's going on? And it's not just, that's why I say it's not just sex. It
Mhm.
can just be wanting to
It's
be
got
in
to
that
be
person's
something
presence.
higher than.
Right.
It's got to be some, like, I want to address a question in the chat where
Of
she said,
course.
what's wrong with being digmatized by your, for your man, right? Like, what's wrong with your, being digmatized by your man? But what we're talking about is like unhealthy. It's codependency. Like,
Mm.
your man will feel like smothered almost, because you can't almost separate. Like, it's okay to have a strong sexual bond and chemistry and like
Mm-hmm.
it's on and popping and your sex life is amazing. That's not what we're talking about. Because when you're digmatized, it's almost like the man, he really is like, you're obsessed with him, and that being obsessed with someone is not fun. I mean, it might be fun for you and you might think it's okay, but he is like literally probably like trying to get away from you and like
Right.
run in his mind. He's waiting on the moment to exit peacefully because he know you a nut. Like, he know, like, I can't just leave her
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm gonna have to slowly get out of that situation. I don't think that any man wants you obsessed with them to the point where they can't breathe. Like, and I think sometimes when women are like that, they are so obsessed, they can't even think about nothing else. Like, they just want
Right.
him all day. I went to lunch with a girl that I had just met, and she could not stop talking about her man. Like, it was really crazy. And I was like, I just met her. Like, it was so weird. I mean, she was just like, yeah, like, he wouldn't like me doing that. Like, and he wouldn't like me doing this. I was like, oh, I mean, he ain't here. I mean, like, girl, I don't know. It was just
funny.
weird for me. Like, so I could tell that he probably, and she called him like maybe 20 times when like we were sitting. It was like we got an hour lunch, you know. So she was like,
I got my addiction on the down low, like a real addict.
I was like, what?
I was like, I'm not, I don't, because I don't want to sound crazy.
You were embarrassed? You were embarrassed, Jen?
Absolutely, because it was an ugly, horrible, toxic thing. So
But that was a long time ago, right, Jen?
I don't think you get stigmatized with your husband. You love your husband and you have chemistry
Right.
and there's love there, right? Being stigmatized, we make fun of it because it's like being hypnotized, right? You're not even thinking, your eyes are spinning and all you see is that person. It's very unhealthy. So that's different than having a beautiful sexual chemistry where there's love, mutual love with your husband. It's completely different.
I think the way, like, just the way like human nature works, like it is sort of for the purpose of mating, right? And so, like, for example, do we know the purpose of a woman's orgasm? Does anyone know? No.
Khalifa, tell us. Teach
No. The reality is that people have all sorts of different things, but no one really knows. Like, we're clear on what the purpose of a man's ejaculation is for. We're very clear on that. But the as far as a woman orgasm, it's no one really knows. It's still a mystery, to be honest. However,
I know it makes me feel better.
No.
Hold on.
I have a guess.
I feel like a different woman every time.
So here's what the reason why I'm saying that, I'm just talking about the science side of it, right? Because I know that, there's the spiritual community and, people tend to spiritualize everything, right? But I'm not speaking from that perspective when I say that. I'm saying as far as the research, no, it's still almost a mystery. They don't really know. If you do the research, you'll find out. You'll run into the fact that they don't really know. Okay, that's one. However, what they do know is that when you do have an orgasm, there's a part of the brain that's responsible for sound decision making. It shuts completely off. It's a blackout. Okay, so you're not thinking about, right? There's that part of the brain when an orgasm happens that shuts off.
So I can ask some questions then.
Huh?
I can ask some questions at that time, right?
There you go. So right. But the other thing too is that we talk about. You ever heard about like the afterglow, where someone look at it? Okay, that's a real thing, because what we're talking about, when those things are released in the body, it actually lasts for like a couple of days. So that afterglow effect is real. So you're not just getting high, Jen, in that one moment. That high lingers. And then when the high begins to wear off, and you might be dealing with some issues in your life, now you gotta go look for dudes that live in the cardboard box. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it just boils down to that hit. You're not thinking clearly. You just want to experience, that thing that happens, in the brain, the part of the brain that's responsible for like rewards, right? And you just want to tap into that. You want to feel good, but it's not about the phallus. It really isn't. It really just boils down to like you have a oxytocin dependency. Okay, it's you are addicted to the neurochemical response that you get in your body when you exchange energy with that person. That's it. Yeah.
So to answer your question, King, you said, so that's when I can ask her stuff. I always say I am not responsible for anything I say during this moment. Like tomorrow, I will confirm nor deny. Okay,
right? That's funny.
For anything I say.
I know with me, I know when a woman climaxes with me, I do ask questions. But they usually, they just say they say whatever I want them to say. They're not really focused, right? But that's how I hold them accountable, because you did say that, right? But I didn't know that it was so, I didn't know so many things would be in play with the hormones.
That don't count. I don't care what you hold her accountable. That do not count. I gotta hold
accountable. Y'all hold us accountable. Y'all hold us accountable. Y'all hold us accountable when we have sex.
since you're the only gentleman on the panel, right? Unless somebody else wants to come up, they got
okay. Let me put it up. So whoever wants to come up, because I know people have things they have to say. So let me put it up. But
tomorrow I may not be able. I may not
they say stuff. No. They say stuff all the time during sex that they do not mean, and we cannot hold y'all accountable. Like, I want to have you gonna be my wife, and then 10 years later, I'm still your girlfriend or baby mom. Like, men say stuff. Don't act like y'all don't say stuff and then don't deliver on whatever it is you supposedly
during sex. I'm a little bit more erotic than that. Like I actually like I'm a little bit more erotic. Like so I'm not gonna say I want to marry you.
You sound like somebody that be telling girls what else. Yeah, I can see it.
I'm trying to make you do certain things that but I'm gonna bring my brother Mr. O up because he's gonna add some value to this because he's one of the sexologists that I know.
Sexologist.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Hi.
Hello. I didn't know I had that title.
I didn't even know it was a song. So let me ask you, King, since you seem to be a very sexual being, or that's how you Don King the situation here. Have you ever consciously used sex to manipulate a woman or to get her hooked into something or try to get her to do something or try to get her whipped? Because you claim to be very freaky and erotic. So do you know what you're doing when you're engaging a woman like that?
To be honest with you, eroticism deals with mental, right? And so, every woman I talk to is a journey. So it's like starting all over again. I got to figure her out, right? And I take my time to figure a woman out. Like just like Wanda says, whatever you tell me, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes because I'm trying to be the best, and I'm trying to figure out what makes you.
Ladies,
I really want a woman to be obsessed by me in sex, and I'm trying to do everything possible to make her climax as soon as possible, make her do things she didn't want to do. Why? Because I want to be the first.
No, you want control. You want control. Yeah, that's what about, because at the end of the day, it's like, why do you want her to be obsessed with you? Why not just satisfied? Why is the focus obsession versus satisfaction? And yes, I'm getting on you, King, because that sounds like full-blown control.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's control. I just think I'm a womanizer.
A dickmatizer.
Somebody said he's toxic. Somebody said King toxic.
No. What happens is I don't think a woman respects you if you can't conquer her in the bedroom. My whole thing is having duality, right? So I'm a gentleman when I'm with you in public, but in the bedroom, I'm gonna be the most disrespectful person you can ever imagine.
Do you mean to use the word conquer? Do you want to choose a different word, or you actually mean like in that context, right? That you just said conquer. Explain. Can you break that down? Can we unpack that? What do you mean by conquer?
Conquer, because most women I deal with are strong, right? At least they portray to be strong women, right? Right. Most women are independent, so I usually deal with women that have they're very quick with the mouth. They're very opinionated. So my job is to make sure to humble them. And the only way I can humble a woman, in my opinion, is through sex. Any other way it will be abusive. So
that's
I humble.
Manipulation.
That's what?
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. That's manipulation. She's like a challenge to you. So it's like, let me break this person down. It's kind of like how I see nerds, right? It's like, oh, look at this innocent little nerd. Let me corrupt him because I know he's never been corrupt before. Let me get that, that pocket protector. Let me fog up his glasses. It's a challenge, right? So you do it, but in the opposite way. Like you want to see somebody strong, conquered, and brought down.
Can I ask you, do you want to get married one day, right?
Absolutely, I want to get married one day.
Tomorrow.
Because
you'll be bored with a wife.
The thing is, you can have a great sexual experience with someone like you, but if you want to connect on a deeper level, it's never going to happen. I don't care how you rub me down, flip me, hold me on the shower.
Right.
It's just gonna be a good time. And we gonna have some good time, but I'm not gonna connect with you on that spiritual, deeper level that Mayette was talking about, that
Mhm.
Hanifa mentioned,
Mhm.
because that's not the purpose of it. You have to be like out of your own mind, not
Mhm.
thinking about conquering and overtaking and controlling
I
me.
mean, I mean, I
Also
mean, I mean.
thinking
But
I,
you're
about please.
no, but you know,
No,
you,
you're
no,
but
smacking.
King. Think about
and
pleasing and
no,
making me feel the best that you can make me feel.
no,
And in that moment,
right,
because of the way you feel about me,
right,
not about how well you dominate me, because this is
right.
not dominatrix. And I'm talking about connecting on a spiritual level and
Okay,
connecting on a different level with a woman. I'm not
okay,
talking about laying it down, because I told you there's a difference between good D and stigmatized. Because
right,
with I can walk away from some good D and not feel no way about it.
right,
Not even like, not even question, like, yeah, it was good, but he ain't got boom, 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 and I'm not dealing with that, right? Like walk clean away. But
right.
I think that, and even digmatized, I don't never want to be there. I'm like Hanifa, I never want to be digmatized. Like I want to always have that strong bond and chemistry with a man
Mhm.
where it's undeniably healthy.
Right,
It's healthy, right? It's not
right,
unhealthy, and it's not, just sexual. It's
right.
beyond that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but
I'm
see,
telling
I get what you're saying, but I'm a little, and I'm gonna bring 100 watts up, and I'm gonna come down. I want other men opinions because I'm being attacked. I feel attacked up here. But listen,
I
I
got you.
want to, I'm different because I don't ever get intimacy from sex. I never got that. I get intimacy from kissing, holding hands, laughing. I get my intimacy from that. I always had a distorted view of sex because when I was a little kid, it wasn't promoted like that. And then when I got active, it was like I always try to hide and watch porno or stuff like that. So sex is it's a very deviant activity for me. Very deviant. So it has to be
you,
the nastiest, it has to be the weirdest, it has to be something that is gonna make you feel like you need to take a shower or something afterwards. That's how I get off. Now, do I want to please my woman? Yes, we can have normal sex. But for
normal.
me,
Wait, so
we
normal
can have
sex?
yeah, we can have normal sex, right? But with me, it has to be a narrative. It has to be a narrative. Like even
See.
like I have to have sex with you in the rain over a balcony in Singapore, or I'm not gonna get off. Or you
But
have to tell me
that can be
I'm
intimate.
Okay,
I'm I'm
That
King,
can be
King,
yeah.
King. First of all, TMI.
I'm
Second
sorry.
of all, I mean,
Sorry,
'cause
sorry.
I'm just like,
Sorry.
what's happening? I'm like, what's happening? Are you selling yourself right now? Like, what
No,
is
no, 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 no,
happening?
no,
Because
no.
you giving out all the
No,
secrets.
no,
Like,
no, 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 not the secrets, but it's like it has to be a narrative. It cannot
okay.
be.
But King,
It,
I'm not saying you have to have vanilla sex in order to have a connection with somebody.
right,
I'm saying
right.
you can do those things. The things that you were saying was that I have to conquer and control.
Yes.
Like it was like a
No, I
weird
didn't say control. I didn't say control.
conversation. Okay,
Hanifa said control. Yeah, I didn't.
okay,
I have to
okay. So
conquer
you
you.
were
Yes.
saying like I need to conquer and like study the woman and like be calculated in how I'm saying you can do those spontaneous things, bend her over a balcony, be on the beach. I'm not saying that you can't be spontaneous. What
Right.
I'm saying is that there also is a component of connectivity that you're missing when you're calculated and you're constantly studying and you're
Within
trying.
within within sex, like I said, outside of sex, it's
Okay,
organic.
so you're
But in
outside of sex. You want to connect with a woman
if
on
you yeah, I
that
can't
intimate
I can't
level.
connect. Yeah,
And
I
then
can't
in the
connect.
bedroom, she needs to be like unattached and
Right, and that's why when I can't be connected with a woman during sex unless she's just an absolutely amazing woman. Other than that, it has to be you have to captivate me outside the bedroom. That's the only way you're gonna win my heart. I can't hear you, Jen. Jen, you was on mute the whole time. Yeah.
Sorry. So going back to what you said, when you conquer a
Right.
strong woman, like Do you lose interest in her after that? Like, oh, okay, I conquered this. I want to conquer something else that's, you know what I mean, strong.
No, so you're gonna hate me for this. I don't care. You can hate me for this.
It's a safe
I
space.
like I like to get sex out the way as soon as possible. Why? I want to see what else you have to captivate me. Let's get that out the way. And I'm not using that as a game or excuse. Like let's get out because a lot of women hold my. I hate when people hold off to sex, and I like you, and the sex is terrible.
But
Let's get it out.
you
Let's
gotta
get it out.
clear that up because you don't mean hello, let's have sex. You mean like within the first few days or so,
Right,
right?
right,
Because like as a dominant male anyway, we like to
Said
hunt.
few days.
We
You
love huh? What'd you
said
say?
few days in the first few
I'm
days.
going
I
down
mean, it
because
can happen that
that sounds like you're
same
getting bogged
night.
down. I'm
It
getting
could
out of
happen
here.
the next day. It could happen within that first week, but it has to.
Yeah.
I think that he wants it early like that. I don't think he wanted like within the first 5 minutes.
A
That's not what
woman
he's
has
saying.
to be well oiled
But
mentally
like
to see some booty the same night she meets you. I'm not saying it's
you know,
impossible. But she has to be well oiled mentally.
Can I want to first of all, hello, good evening to the beautiful flowers here in the panel tonight. Hello and good
Yes.
evening.
Oh, good evening.
I want to ask the question here. Is it a man's fault that you become digmatized, or is it your fault or is it our fault?
If he's
it's
using
not
it
a
to
fault
manipulate,
thing. That ain't a fault thing. Like this is just a biological thing, man. Like when she
And I understood, and this is part of why I mean it may be a
First one
biological
of
thing,
things.
but
Mhm.
biologically speaking, is it more on the man or the woman when a woman ends up digmatized? Is what I'm asking you.
the
that's
What
man,
I'm asking them more or less.
if you are a man and
Well, let's let Mr. O answer because I think he wants to talk about it. Go ahead.
So King was speaking about these like experiences on balconies in the south of France and all that. Like that's cool, but you can have the same experience at a public restaurant. You know, like it's just about an uncommon experience leaving a mark. He want to hunt her down, and he want to give her an experience that nobody else gave her. This is one of the biggest reasons why men don't like these independent women because we want to be like I was the first to take you here. I was the first to put you in this bench. I was the first mention. Men want that because we're like ego driven, but like that's just a sport. That is like a cardio. You know, it's a workout. And for men with the friction, you're gonna get off. And sometimes women just want that. They want the back blown out. It ain't about like that orgasm, but to have that hypnotized thing, that's just like a mental stimulation. That's this mental safari you go down. When you have a permanent residence in her mind, you're going to connect with her in that sexual experience in a way that she can't explain. Like that's a digmatized. It's connecting with her more than just the physical. The physical just has to complement that mental connection that y'all already have.
Can I respond to and what Mr. O is saying, like it's not necessarily about location. I agree with that as well. I think it's connection. But to answer your question, 100 watts, it cannot be the man's fault because he is not responsible for what's going on in her body, right? But she also is not responsible because we're talking about the makeup of human beings, just the way the brain functions and everything. So that's why oftentimes women can feel out of control, like Jen was saying. It's almost like you become this fiend. You're not getting up that morning and saying, I'm just gonna be addicted to this particular person's, right? This person's energy. You're not making a conscious, deliberate decision. So no one is at fault. Definitely not the men. Definitely not the men. Because here's the reality: a man can go in, like Jen was mentioning. Like I think Jen, you were trying to say, it depends on if he's doing it, like if he's deliberately doing that. But here's the thing: a guy can go in there with that intention, and it can fall completely flat because he don't have other things that is helping her connect with him to where she could begin to release those particular chemicals in her body. Again, it is about pleasure.
My
It's not necessarily you touch me and therefore there's a reaction. That touch has to be pleasing for me. The brain has to say we like this. and then the brain release those things. But so it's not as simple as, oh, you touch me. That's how come you could have, that's how come I always say to men, all women are not created the same. So what worked for Tawana may not work for Jen. And oftentimes a guy might think, when I was with Tawana, this used to blow her mind. This used to drive her crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
then they meet Jen and they try that. And Jen is like, what the hell are you doing? Like in her mind,
Right.
like, what
It's
is
a
you doing?
journey. It's an individual journey.
Right, it's an individual thing, right? Because we are not all made the same. So I always say there is no set blueprint for
Right.
pleasuring a woman. You have to learn that woman's body, you have to
Mm-hmm.
learn her mind, you have to learn her spirit, because sex is more, it's multi-dimensional, it's a multi-dimensional experience.
It
It's
is.
also, it's more than just the body that's engaged in sex. We have the mind, like all your senses,
Right.
smell, touch, hearing, sight, all of
Right.
these senses are engaged in sex. So sex is not just one thing. And so that's why I'm like, it's important that we talk about these things for people who are coming behind us, the
Yeah.
20-something-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, to
Right.
really get in touch, men and women, with their bodies. I have sons. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to think what worked for Karima is going to work for Keisha.
Right.
Okay?
So
There
so
are
here's
no
the question.
shortcuts. One
And
Oh,
you
minute.
said
well,
that
let
Wait,
me
one minute.
answer.
Let me just land. Let me land right here. There are no shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to take the time that you took to know Karima. Guess what, sir? There is no shortcuts. You're gonna have to take the time to get to know Keisha too, because
Right.
Keisha is a totally different makeup.
Absolutely.
That's it.
you can feel those shortcuts. You can feel when a guy's doing something and that's like his thing, his signature thing, and you're like, what the? I don't feel that.
I,
And
That's
I
that's
wanted to answer Mr. Watts because 100 watts, because I feel like that the intention matters as well. I don't believe that anyone is at fault necessarily if she gets stigmatized and like that wasn't the intention. But I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like some men use sex as a, especially when they know the woman has um, some emotional deficiencies. Like for some reason, you guys can smell it a mile away. Like you know when she's naive and when she's
Right.
manipulate. Like you know it. I don't know how y'all know it, but y'all have like some spidey senses that y'all can just be like, oh, this girl, like I can get her quickly. And I think when you know that and you intentionally like go into it knowing that okay, she's vulnerable and I'm using this vulnerability to get to her in a deeper way, like, and you know that you're not interested in her, I mean, you already know that there's results. That's something like there is consequences for that. I'm
Right.
not
So
saying
may I ask
it's
you?
fault. I'm just saying that you know that when you're manipulating, just like when I'm dating a guy that I know I don't like, but I'm using him for something. It could be money, it could be whatever I'm using him for, and he decides to like he flips and he's like, oh, I want it, I want it more, right? It's the same thing. Like when you know that she's vulnerable, you know that there's some emotional damage there, and you know like that whatever you're doing can possibly be, you know, make her more vulnerable. I think a lot of men know that, and they know that, and they may take advantage of the situation anyway. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but I'm just saying that be aware that the stigmatized thing can happen, and then your windows are bust out, and your tires are slashed, and you're trying to figure out why.
Right.
And that,
But you know what? I'm glad I got the fellas on the stage right now, the panel, because fellas, why do ladies don't they don't equate being pussy whipped with being matized? Why? They don't equate it to be
because it works in
the
their
same.
benefit.
Thank
Anybody,
you.
every
Absolutely.
that's a human being thing. I don't want to put that just on women. That's a human being thing. If you find
Okay.
something that works in your benefit, you're not gonna draw attention to it. You're gonna try and get people to be quiet and pay attention over there. If it works in your benefit, like who wouldn't?
Well, it's just
Ladies,
not the same experience. For a guy and a woman don't have sex for the same reasons. We have sex for two different reasons. And for you to get to the dignitized state, there is no climax without no connection, with that woman. If you ain't built that time to put
Mm.
that residence in her mind, like she's not gonna ever get there. And when she gets there, this is the reason why she's engaged with you. It's not a bad thing that he has that responsibility over your body. It's just what he does with that responsibility that matters. And he does what he say he gonna do. Like that's the ideal situation.
Consistency.
Yeah,
But
that's the
but
ideal
does
situation.
that happen?
No, no.
Well,
Let's get back to the pussy
in
whip thing.
modern times, no.
Let's get back to the pussy whip thing because I believe
No.
a lot of you women when a man is pussy whipped, you normalize it like that's he's supposed to be under my spell.
But see, y'all call pussy whip something that we don't think
Yeah,
is
it's like I
true.
think pussy
Like
whip
we don't
was
believe.
first simp.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Tell me what you think is.
Pussy whip
Tell me your definition. Tell me what y'all think is
Me,
pussy whip.
me, 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 me. When a woman is basically has control of you, um, because you have a desire to be not to lose her. So and also her sex game has you doing things that you wouldn't normally do for any other woman. That's what I believe. That's for me. That's what it is.
That's only with underdeveloped males though. Like I
Right.
ain't
Oh,
no
so you never
you
oh,
can't
you
control
never
me with what's between your legs ever. You can keep
never.
that.
Okay.
Keep that. I don't
100
need
watts, 100 watts,
that ain't why I'm with you.
100
That's gonna
watts.
be
What
the
about you?
byproduct of a perfect situation that makes sense on both sides.
So hold on, Mr. O.
I am
100
not
watts.
controlled by that.
Mr. 100 watts. Have you been ever under the spell of a woman because of her sex?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'd be lying if I said no.
Mm.
what was it was it the actual physical or how she made you feel and treated you and you know what I mean?
Right.
What was it? Was the actual physical vagina, how it felt inside?
So
Or
the way I'm
I,
not even no, that point's not even necessary. But look, um it was a whole totality. You know what I'm saying? It was a combination of things, right? Like he said, underdeveloped. I wasn't understanding of what my power was as a man at the time. Like
Right.
I wasn't completely aware of that. Like I had some figuring out I had to do because at the time I was fresh out of high school. I just joined the military. Now I'm making money on my own. And at the time, it felt good to be able to take your money and spend it on a female. And she'd be like, "Oh, I'm." At the time, it felt good at the time. So I kind of got wrapped in all of that. You see what I'm saying? But now at this point in my life, I mean, it's gonna take more than a box to get me wrapped up to
Y'all
keep it
can
real.
only
You
do
know,
that with guys y'all smarter than, and y'all
nigga,
don't
it take
respect them anyway. So
no,
it
no.
take.
Can I ask about the physical part of it? Listen,
Okay.
the physical part of it, like I really was not trying to be funny. There are men that say
Yeah.
they're whipped on the feeling inside the vagina. Is the feeling inside enough to make you, I want to be with this woman
It's not.
specifically
it's
And
because
a
I
see,
lie.
to speak for myself, it wasn't necessarily the feeling inside. It was the amount of times we would have sex, what she would do when we would have sex. You know what I'm saying? The things that I would ask of her that she would do in return. You see what I'm saying? So all of those things in totality is what caused that. And again, being undeveloped and not understanding my power, being wrapped in that, it's like, nah, man, I can't. Nah, I ain't gonna go play basketball today because I don't want her to be mad at me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go back to the crib. Like,
you whip. Now
Great sexual chemistry is rare. Sexual chemistry with that one person where y'all like speaking this, it's like a symphony. That's rare,
That's
but
what I was saying.
it don't
It's rare.
control no man. That don't control the man. A man's not
I
gonna be
mean,
controlled.
but and I hear you, like 100%, because where I'm at right now, I'm not at where I was at 18, 19, 20 years old. But I just feel like I feel like a man that says that he has not been in that place has either not got enough box or is lying.
No, like I know that like I got some F's on my report card too, but I was never controlled I was never controlled by that, but I definitely before I had any game, I would use charisma and charm and sex to get what I wanted because I ain't had
Right.
no I didn't know no better.
we're talking
I
about
just
Yeah.
used the tools I had. Them was the tools I knew I had.
Men use that.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Give us an example.
Like when I was a boy in the military, maybe something like that.
No, like give us an example, not the time period. An example of how you use sex to manipulate a woman, and we're gonna let other people up because we want to get the other men a chance to speak. But give us an
Oh,
example.
when you if you're in the military and you starting out young in life, man, you haven't hit your financial stride and you still want things. Yeah,
So you
I'm gonna keep my
smashed a
money.
big girl before for the like the pace, like not to be derogatory,
Oh,
not
no,
dissing, but
like, well, sport fucking is a different thing. But like,
what is that? What is that?
Wait, you can't
right,
smash
so
someone
men's we
else.
sport fuck we do.
Who is that?
This is being honest.
Come on
We do
now.
have sex for sport because like for us it's just the friction sometimes. We're not having sex for a mental connection all the time. Sometimes it's just to get something off. And yeah, you got some tuck that keep it clean, keep her house clean. She cook good. She may not look as good as your man, but yeah, we're gonna do that.
So
But I'm
that's
talking about manipulation. Let's say I want my bills paid, or I want a trip, or I'm young and I don't make a lot of money, but I want cable and I want to go out this weekend. So maybe I'll sleep with
So
a girl.
you've had sex
Pay
with a
with my
woman,
bill.
and then she paid your cable bill, or she brought your trip, and
No,
you
I
said
took her on.
that was your intention.
No, I took her on a mental safari and got her to see me for me, and she did whatever I wanted. Yeah, it ain't about the
Mm.
sex.
See, yeah, that perfect example of how his
It's
charisma
about
helped
the
you. Yo,
experience.
the way you twist,
But
bro.
if you did, and so you
Just my
didn't have sex
tools.
with
I
her,
didn't have a lot of tools when I was young, so I'm just charming. I make you laugh. Ain't no game. I'm just making you laugh, and I'm smooth, and I'm a gentleman, and I'm opening doors. But
right?
I ain't giving you nothing. You ain't getting nothing out of me but a good time and sex. And I think it's a fair exchange though, because I mean, for a woman to fall for that, there ain't much there for her, or she would have saw through that.
Right.
So I'm not really receiving a lot in return either. I think that's just a fair exchange with people who don't have a lot of experience again.
Well, thank you,
It
brother. Let me bring
happens.
other people up. I want to thank you so much for your contribution. Let me bring the other people up, and I appreciate you. Thank you,
Mr.
100
L.
watts.
Yes, sir.
we got a lot of
Appreciate
people
you for
backstage.
real. Yeah, we're gonna bring
Oh, that's M3.
M3. Sorry.
Hello, Ken. Hello,
You
everyone.
hear?
Can you guys hear me?
No, we can't
We
hear you right now.
can.
Hold on. You
Oh,
good? You on now?
Who else is coming in? Any ladies? Ladies, I know
Any
you
late
got stories.
MD? Because we getting towards the end, so I couldn't bring everybody up. So I apologize. We coming towards the end. We got to get ready to go to Jen's page, but please,
Okay.
please, M3 and M3. Have you ever stigmatized a woman? You're married, first and foremost. I want to apologize for that.
Oh,
But
you good.
yeah, have you ever stigmatized a woman before or been pussy whipped? And give us an example.
Okay. I would say like, like both, right? You know,
Hmm.
and I ain't gonna front. When I was young, I was pussy whipped. But see, hold on, I want to make sure you guys can hear me clear, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Because like when you're young, you know, all you hear is like, okay, this fantasy of what this amazing sex is gonna look like.
Hmm.
And so you put your time and your investment into that woman. And so when it happens, yeah, it becomes like a good feeling, but not because of like the feeling of a woman's vagina. It's just that it's that experience. It's like you feel like you conquered something. You
Hmm.
put a lot of effort to try to get to that level in the first place. And I think that's where like, a lot of men get stuck at. It's because they want to like, impress these women so bad because and sometimes it could be about their egos. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I can't get this. Well, it's hard for me to get this woman now, but I'm gonna get her later. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because why is it that once you have sex with this person, now you're ready to go on to the next person and discard her? You know what I mean? It's an ego
Hmm.
thing. Okay. As far as like stigmatized like someone else, yeah, I've been on that side before I got married. But it's all about like, if the woman has a high attraction for me and
Hmm.
how do I reciprocate that? Am I going to use her just for my own pleasure, my own gain, or am I going to see like a true value into that? And when
Right.
I was young, I didn't see the value into that at first.
Hmm.
It took time, maturity, and understanding of a person's value and understanding my own value. Because I didn't understand my own value at first when I was young.
It seems like men that get stigmatized are young. or
Say again?
immature.
Yeah.
Is that right, ladies? The men that are more likely, the men that are more likely to no, the women that are more likely to get dignitized are young.
It's sounding that way. I was just about to say that because hi M3, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing,
Um,
man?
good. It's when he was talking, I'm like, all of the guys that came up pretty much said, yeah, when I was younger. So it's very interesting. I'm like, is it that we learn to control, certain aspects of the experience once we get older, with maybe learning ourselves, our bodies, and everything, or we just ain't got the energy we used to have and just don't have the time. That I don't know, but from as soon as he said when he was young, I'm like, okay, seems like all of these experiences where people are addicted to each other is happening at a much younger age than
I
when
guess
you
if
reach a
we
certain
assume,
age. Go
I
ahead,
guess
Tamara.
if we assume they have emotional intelligence and they are being honest about that, then yes. Because I feel like, maybe you may not admit that right away, or you may not be conscious of it. Because remember, Hanifa, you even said that it's something that some women are not even conscious of, and they may even still be in denial that they are. Because I know grown women like my age that are like stigmatized right now. Like I can pull them on stage and be like, there she is. Here's an example.
Yeah.
Like for real. And I can see it because they don't even make rational decisions when it comes to their love life.
You know what
I'm
I
like,
just thought
why
of?
did you get a loan in your name for this man? Like, it's crazy things that they do. Then I'm like, but you 40, so you like that
Right.
is crazy to me.
Is
I
it true?
don't understand
Is
that.
it true that women? I know some women that don't sleep with me quick because they know they have a high chance of being stigmatized, or they're usually stigmatized with most guys they deal with. Is that true? That women would try to, if they know that
Mm.
they could fall for a man quick or be stigmatized, they tend not to deal with you. M3, anybody?
I
Are you
could vouch for
saying
that.
that they're more susceptible
Yeah, yeah, they're more
wait,
susceptible.
That only
okay.
happens one
So
time in their
if
life.
that's the case,
Mhm.
then there's probably if every guy you meet, you are stigmatized. There's
We know
more
girls
going
like that.
on.
We know women
Yeah,
like that.
no, there's more going on there than just a chemical reaction or a chemistry connection. I think there's a deeper issue going on there, to be honest. That would be my response to that. But I know M3 you was trying to say something, and I have something to say afterwards. Go ahead.
No problem. And I know just by experience, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that. So I'll try to keep it short. Yeah, for some women, to each their own, right? Not all of them. But I know there was some that they had feelings for me, and it wasn't gonna really work out because I'm a married guy. And so their only best result is basically
And brother,
Sir,
I
sir,
just want you,
this is a
and brother,
public
good.
platform.
Yeah,
I just want to remind
don't,
you.
yeah, brother, like,
I know I understand. I'm not trying to get too personal with it, but
okay, because it
yeah,
kind of, because yo,
I
I'm trying to save you, brother. I'm trying to save
She
you right
already
now.
know. I'm
I'm
assuming.
trying to
I
save
hope
you.
Mrs.
Thank you,
3M,
Wanda
Mrs.
Washington.
M3. I'm
don't
sorry. I
worry.
hope you know.
I'm trying to save you right now,
I
brother.
hope
Yeah.
That's
you
why we're
already
going.
know what has been
Yeah.
transpired. There's
Yeah.
no disrespect,
Well, okay.
Mrs.
Well, let me
M3.
make it clear, right? I don't do
Only
no
on
cheating or
conversation
anything
with
like
you.
that. But I know, like, when there's some women that do find me attractive, but they know that I'm married. Some will try to holler passively, but they know that by the end of the day, they will never be able to go home with me.
Good.
And so by the end result, and that's where I was against that part. So
Okay,
thank you for helping me
good.
make it clear.
Yeah, right.
But by the end of it, right?
Clear that
They
up
had to
like
go.
Sage.
Yeah, I
Bring it
know,
back.
I
Bring it
know,
back.
I
Let's
know.
reel it in.
They got married to someone else based off of
Okay.
convenience, and that was good for them.
Right.
That is, But I know there's
So
women.
because they
Yeah,
didn't want you, because they couldn't get you, you feel like they got married for convenience. Is that what you're saying on this platform?
for now, this is a true
But
story.
they never had sex with you, but you
No, they
think they
never.
would.
So
just because they were physically attracted.
Because some people have that emotional type of connection, and in hopes that one day your marriage will fall apart. Like I said, it's a long story, but I'm not gonna get to it on the live stream. But some will hope that your marriage will fall apart. So you could be like, you know, I divorced my wife or whatever. Now I'm gonna get with this person.
M3, M3, M3.
Mm-hmm.
Say less, brother. Say less.
Right.
All right.
Say less.
Right, boy. Yeah. F3, you a wild boy. You a
Yeah.
wild
Look,
boy.
I'm gonna be transparent with you. I'm not gonna fake it. You know, you ask me a question. I'm gonna
No,
be
that's
honest
good.
with you.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Fine.
I like
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah.
But
So,
it,
King,
it's
let me.
King's. Wait, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
If I could just go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to talk about King's like avoid being stigmatized question because I feel like that's a real thing. Like if you're a woman and you know that you get attached from sex, eventually you learn to not jump into bed with every man. Like I'm gonna tell you that that's like a real thing, and I know. And King said he experienced that, and I think that's like a legit thing to. If you know that more than just like a physical connection, like you get attached and there is like a little bit more that happens eventually when you start getting when your heart is broken multiple times and you see that it's not working out, like you do avoid having sex with men if you don't know for sure where the connection is, and that's probably what she's doing, King. And I just wanted to comment on that. Like I know women who do that, and I do think that's a real thing. Like
right, I know. I think every woman on this stage, and Hanifa goes after this. Every woman on the stage has a woman friend, a lady friend that basically she falls head over heels over every guy she deals with. Everybody has that lady, right? So everybody knows this is one girl in your crew. Whoever's her man, she's like she stops talking to you. She's all on him. That's who she is. And I'm saying those women. What are certain things you can say to those women so they can stop being more susceptible, like Hanifa said, to being stigmatized?
nothing.
Therapy.
You cannot say absolutely nothing.
Heal. That requires some healing.
Yeah.
Damn.
They need to value themselves first.
Damn.
That's deep.
I have tried. What you do is you damage the relationship and you ruin the friendship if you even try to intervene. And it's not even just friends, family as well. Like if you try to intervene, it could really put a strain, and then they won't even come to you when they have issues. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
I'll be good.
You saw that, Hanifa? That's these ladies was trying to save you, brother.
Mrs.
Damn.
M3, I was like trying to save Mrs. M3. I didn't want her to feel like there was a confession going on here.
Right.
No. Like I said, it ain't no
confession.
confession.
M3, this is what it sounded like you were saying, that you cheated and the woman wanted you, and then you kind of decided like whatever. And so I was like, is he trying to confess on this? Ain't strawberry letter?
No. Let me make it clear, right? and look, and that's my bad, right? Like I said, I'm just trying to be transparent, but when I'm talking about emotional connections, right? There are women. Well, I would say that I ain't gonna talk too much.
King. We appreciate you, Bay Area.
No, but there's been situations, right, where I know for a fact that a woman has a high attraction for me, right? And even will never go there. And like I said, I'm just being honest. No cheating going on, anything like that. But a man would know that, okay, if a woman can't really get to you or get into your marriage, eventually they're going to have to move on with someone else. You know?
Yeah, so, I was just as he was.
I know I already incriminated myself, but
no, M3. I tried to help you, brother. I really did. Like, I was just like, sir. Okay, Jeez. I didn't really want to say it, but I was like, sir, I know we don't know each other. Well, walk with me here. Work with me.
I got you though.
So and also when you was talking, I was just like, there are layers to cheating, right?
Right.
There is, that there's the physical aspect, there's the emotional piece as
That's
well,
right.
which is
That's
a
right.
huge part of it.
Yeah.
But as we were speaking, you know what I thought about? I thought about like, since we was talking about, sex and just like the body and the chemistry, the chemicals in the body is released and the brain and so forth. What came to my mind is that I wonder what that looks like on younger people, because the brain don't fully develop until about 25 actually. So that prefrontal cortex, right, which is the last part of the brain to develop, and this is why you'll see younger people taking like riskier behaviors, because we say they think they're invincible, you know what I'm saying. They just they're not able to like make the like, if I do this is the long-term consequence and so forth, because that has more to do with brain development. And as we're speaking, I'm like, I wonder what that looks like with someone whose brain is not completely developed, because as we're talking, I'm like, wow, at 19, at 18 and having sex, what does that do to them? Because we're talking about adults who are over the age of 25 dealing with the idea of digmatization, right? What does that look like for much younger people whose brain has not reached its full capacity, or full developmental capacity? That just crossed my mind. I was just like, what does that look like? So now y'all gonna have me researching that. But yeah, that's sort of was the question that came to me.
Well, with M3, so like I'm thinking like Mayette, like I'm just wondering, like, if my husband was emotionally connected to some woman, right? Like, why are you emotionally connected to any woman when you're married? Because I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how you feel about it. Like, if your husband is emotionally connected to a woman to the degree where she feels like she has some sort of attachment to your husband. I don't know how you. I guess I'm kind of trying to figure out. I'm trying to,
because M3O they're doing M3O they're doing the most. That's why. That's exactly what it is.
No, but
I wonder how my ass feels about that, because I feel like I had a strong reaction to it, but I'm trying to figure out how you felt about it.
No, I'm with you on that. That is, first of all, I can't even imagine it really, but it's just, to even kind of hear you say like women like coming for like having that, wanting you and knowing that you're married, that is like, where are you meeting these women? I mean, I don't need to know that, but like,
well, yeah,
yeah.
We'll just say fixed locations, whatever. But I'm gonna put it like this, right?
Wait. Before we do that, I have a question. Maat and Tawana, wait. Are we saying that because a man is married, he becomes undesirable? Is that what we're saying?
No.
Okay, because the way you ask,
we're not undesirable, but
wait, Maat, the way you ask that question is almost like judgment on the woman who find him attractive, even though he's married. You're like, where you finding these women? So my question is like, because he's married, a woman can't be attracted to him.
Not that she finds him attractive.
Okay.
But the extra step of him saying that she is having those feelings to, those,
right.
It's another step that's going on there.
Right. Like, I think he's fine. I know other women gonna think my man fine. Right. Like, or I feel like they will value that. But if my man is emotionally connected to a woman, I almost wonder what is going on beyond just like the day-to-day, hey, how you doing, and like cool interaction, where you feel like is a decision that needs to be made. Like, I'm so emotionally connected that I need to decide if I want to be with you, or like that's a
So it's
weird
not a
on me.
decision like on a woman's part whether she could like make the choice to be with the person or not. So let's say in general, right? Okay, and this is the same thing that goes for like boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. You know, just because you're with somebody does not means that you're not going to be desirable to like other women. Some people will say like, oh, once you get married, you're going to be even more desirable for other women because they feel like, okay, you know how to make that commitment. That oh, this guy will know how to treat a woman, right? So yes, it's up to me to decide. Okay, am I going to soak into having emotional connections with other people, or am I going to say, hey, this is not cool or whatever? Let me put a stop to that.
Married women are desirable to other men as well.
Exactly,
Because
and it goes both ways.
so it goes both ways.
Yeah.
But do I have an emotional connection with another man where he feels like he gonna
Tawana.
have an input in my marriage? No. But I'm
Tawana.
saying, yeah, that's what I'm
Did
saying.
anybody
Let
did
me-
Yeah.
anybody
let-
ask? Did anybody ask? What is he doing in the interim when these women are getting attached to him? Like, what are you doing? Why are women getting attached to you? Are you talking them up? Are you hanging out with them? And do you enjoy the attention?
Like I
I
said,
went to eat
he is
too.
out there doing the most. But go ahead,
It
M3,
seems
answer the
like it's a little,
question.
I can't say
little
I'm doing the most,
pleasure
but all,
there.
all I'm saying is this, right? I'm just using these narratives as an example. You know, like women could still be emotionally like attached if you allow them to be emotionally attached, but they cannot control the marriage unless you yourself as a man allow that to happen. You
Right,
know,
right.
and like I said before, like obviously let's say that particular woman that I would just mention as an example, right, does not have control over the marriage, you know. But if I was a person, right, that was like, okay, if I cave into my fleshy desires and just went along with it, then I wouldn't still be married. You know what I mean?
Well, let me go back to what Tawana said. I don't want
Yeah.
to go off tangent, but she said
Okay.
something I don't fully agree with, and you let me know if
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Okay, go ahead.
You said that women are desirable after they get married, and hold on,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say this. I think men, no matter what shape they're in, I don't care what financial state they're in, I don't care how they look physically, they're desirable once they get married. But the women that are desirable after marriage, they look they look like they were before they got married. I don't think women that don't take care of themselves, because like a man is more attractive when he gets married, no matter how he looks, no matter how much money he
Okay,
has.
so let me
But
let me let me let me clear this
a woman still looks. A woman has to
let me
still
clear
keep
this
up.
myth up, because I think men think that only women who are physically attractive get men, and that is absolute false. Like, there are women of all different body types, all different sizes, every woman. And if you want to cheat, there's a man out here that'll cheat with you. Like, I don't
Wow.
understand why y'all think that women who look a certain way. I mean, have you seen 500-pound, 600-pound? Like, the men are out there hosing they women down. Like, it is men who like all types of
Yo, you
different
said
women. I don't
you said
understand
host
what
woman
y'all
there.
think. They hosing them down. Like, she was on the balcony and she has to take a shower with a hose, and he's like hosing her down. I mean, there's men out here who desire all types of women.
No. I'm talking about.
For
I'm talking
you
about.
guys to say that a woman, because she doesn't look like she looked before she got married, she not gonna have prospects.
No,
Wait,
I'm
who
saying.
said
I'm saying.
that?
I'm saying. No, I'm saying. No, I'm saying.
No.
Marriage makes the man more attractive. It doesn't do that for women.
Well, it does. It
Oh
does,
wow,
because
I didn't
when a
know
man,
that.
okay, when a man see that I am taken, it is like, oh, she's
They don't have to
taken.
put
I
the
For
mean,
real?
it's
bullshit in.
like you said,
Sure.
it's almost like something that they have to accomplish. Like, they have to see if they can conquer this. Like, I have to see if her husband is fulfilling her in a way, or can I interfere in it in any way? They will try. So yes, we get the same types of advances. I don't know how often, or women might not speak on it as much as
Okay,
men.
so that's what I'm saying. That's
Because
what I'm saying.
Like Hanifa said, we are kind of, criticized and ridiculed for talking about these types of things publicly, and so we're cautious about what we say. And women are very much more like, okay, I don't want to say, but women, we get hit on sometimes by your friends, sometimes by family. Like sometimes we don't say anything, and sometimes we just keep it to ourselves, but it happens. It happens on the daily. I know, like, almost a lot of married women that I know have been hit on by someone that their husband know.
Are you serious? See,
Yeah,
I'm different.
and they shut it down for whatever reason, but I know
the
that
marriage is not the marker. That's the issue we're having here. The marriage is not the marker. The marriage is not the metric. It's not the thing that we're making it out to be. Perhaps women after they get married, and I wouldn't say after they get married, I think once you start to have a family, right? The responsibilities that come with that for women, right? Women tend to take on a lot more, I don't want to say responsibilities, but they carry a lot more, right? Within themselves around family dynamics than men do. It's not necessarily the marriage that makes men more desirable or women less desirable. It's not the marriage itself. I think it really boils down to sort of the person and where they're at, the space they're at in their life. For example, a woman who is extremely happy in her marriage, just she could be swinging from I don't know, from a pole somewhere if she wanted, but just extremely happy. The attraction is not that she has a ring on. The attraction is that she is happy. So there's something that's happening inside, and it then emanates on the outside of her. Same thing with a man who is happily married. You meet a woman who is miserably married, right? She's probably overeaten. She's probably stressed out. Her skin is just cracked in all the wrong places. Like that has nothing to do with necessarily with marriage. It has more to do with the circumstances that's happening in that person's life. So I wanted to make, like, it's not, we're measuring it by
not the
marriage, right? And to what Tawana said, as far as women that are 400 pounds getting men, here's the thing. Shout out to the manosphere, right? In this sense, when I say shout out, I mean they have women out here scared, talking about winter is coming. You know what I'm saying? Women out here shaking in their boots. Oh my, winter is coming. I need a man. I need a paddle buddy, right? And the reality is that in real life, a lot of what people get, or what even men, it has to do with their proximity to those things. People settle sometimes because they don't have access to what they really want. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have to figure out
on the West Coast right now. You're right.
What's going to happen is you are then going to do what? Mates or whatever with the people around you, more than likely. So this idea of, if you look a certain way, or you're gonna die alone, ridiculousness, right? It's a fair tactic. It's a fair tactic. And women literally have to not listen to that stuff and get out into the real world, because that's some YouTube rhetoric that's happening. And what Tawana just said, I mean, these people are getting hosed down by their loved ones. Hosed down.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to laugh.
It's all right. But I'm just saying that they found people, and then you have people out here that are gorgeous who are not even near that size, and they're struggling to find a relationship or whatever. So it really depends on the person. It depends on the connection they're making. I mean, it depends on a lot of factors. It doesn't just narrow down to one thing, And so, like, when people say winter is coming, I'd be like, yes, so is spring and summer. What are we really talking about? You know what I'm saying? So you have women out there just terrified, and it's like, oh, I'm going to be lonely forever. And so they're out here trying to do all of these different things to themselves. And I know we have a topic coming up soon about that, doing all of this shape shifting in hopes to find a man, right? and they're losing themselves in the process. I can't subscribe to that, nor encourage anyone around me to
That's right.
subscribe to it. It's
I
nonsense.
That's right,
want to add
honey.
to that. Let me add to that real quick because I love what you said. It's a joke I used to have with my man. Like, you know, when you take care of a man really well and you know you make sure he looks good and smells good and you take care of him and you're cooking, you get his whole world is perfect. I used to make a joke all the time. Like when you go out there, those women are looking at you, they're not looking at you, they're looking at me. Because I put all that on you. You know what I mean?
Yo.
That feeling. So when you go out there, they're not even looking at you, they're looking at me. So it's a joke that I had, but it goes along with what you said. When a man is happy in his life and he's successful and everything, his woman is home and he's in love, and the same thing with women, when we're out there like that, we do. It's like it radiates, and that's what people are attracted to, whether you have a ring on or not. So
Right.
Yeah. And I definitely want to add to, if you don't mind, real quick. You definitely hit the nail on the coffin on that one because, you know, a lot of people think that, oh, it's because if I'm not looking in a certain way, then yeah, cold winter is coming. It's not about what you look, it's the attitude that you carry. So people will be surprised that a lot of average women, or how society call them average, get hollered at more than like the pretty women. Because guys feel like, okay, this pretty woman with this so-called pretty privilege, right? You know, will come with a bad attitude in the package, unfortunately. You know, and there's a lot of beautiful women that actually do have a good attitude, but don't get approached like that way. And then you have, I'm gonna say, Jen.
What you
Jen, you're
say,
muted.
Jen? You're muted. You're
Jen, you're
muted,
muted.
Jen.
I think she's saying good job or something.
That's more YouTube BS. The pretty
That's
privilege.
YouTube. That's so
Listen,
YouTube.
I'm not going. Hold on. I'm not going to lie to
Behave.
y'all. I apologize. We went over the time,
Okay.
and because the conversation was good, so we're gonna take this to Jen's page. Chef, I know you got something to say because you up here. So can we go to? Can we all go to on the block? Let me put up right now. Hold on. On the
I
block
just
with
showed
Jen.
up so I wouldn't get fined.
You're
You're
crazy.
so funny.
You can never get fined.
Hi.
You can never
Practice.
you can never get
Hello.
What
you
up?
can
What
never
up,
get
Chef?
fined because Chef can never get fined because he was one of the people that really helped build this. So I want to say
Man,
on the
you
on
know,
the
these people in the comments, I got to come on Jen's page because these people in the comments talking about women, married women not desirable. Where y'all live?
that's what I'm
Y'all
trying
must
to
don't
say.
live in like
Listen. That's what I'm trying to say. We going
like
to
I
Jen's.
need to
Yeah,
really
A
we
woman
going
with
to
a
Jen.
good
We're going
attitude is
to Jen's
desirable.
page.
Let's keep that in mind.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
We going to M. We going to
y'all like
we're going to
bitches
on the
without
block.
a
We're going to on the block with Jen page
All right,
right
I'm
now.
coming.
Everybody, we go over there, and this is what we're going to talk about. Marriage women not being desirable. She has her own topic she wants to talk about. With kind of the same thing, cheating, whatever, right? But we also, this is the last time I speak on it. I'm going to talk about the E Black situation on her page, and I'm going to tell
Okay.
you how I felt, why he's not here, and I'm going to talk about anything she needs to ask me about anybody that's not here anymore. And I'm going to just say one time, and we're going to leave the toxicity in 2021. I'm going to speak once. So tell everybody to come over. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to get my tequila shot because the things I'm going to say is going to be really official. And Jen is going to
Oh,
ask these
I'm
questions.
over there. I'm
And I
over
don't
there.
want to start.
Yo, son.
I don't want to start
Yo, I'm
any
finna
issues.
hack her page and send all of that stream to my shit.
Let me get some
So
wine. I'm gonna go get some wine because it's gonna get spicy. And we're gonna put everything out on the motherfucking table tonight.
and anybody that wants to come up and defend what they have to say, you could come up. She won't censor you, and that's it. And my mother said to me, "Don't disrespect women." So if I have anything about anybody that's a woman, I'm not talking about you. But all the men that's not here anymore, we're going to discuss it because I watched it yesterday. I watched the special today. I watched Chef's show yesterday. And there's a lot of things people are not being forthright with. And we're going to discuss it real quick. And we're going to get back to the real subject at hand. Why are married women unattractive? And Jen's topic in regards to cheating. Is it cheating with your, what is it?
It's our if a woman is withholding sex from her spouse
Right.
Is it her fault if he cheats?
Right.
Oh,
So let we have it right here. Thank you, Danique. I appreciate you. Please go to that page. Also, our chat room is actually the best chat room in YouTube, and people love to comment on our chat rooms. Subscribe to our page, because what's going to happen is you're going to have some questions for me. I'm only going to be there for the first 20, 30 minutes, and then I got to get back to my debaucherous, hedonistic lifestyle. Thank you so much. And to the girl and to the married woman in the West Coast who I love, I can never ever mess with you, because I know you're in love, and I know, so I'm good. I could handle that. I'm good.
what?
I
What
came to
is going
terms.
on
All
here?
right.
Can
All
I
right. So
just
let me go.
King,
right now. Yeah.
can I just say shout out,
Right.
thank you M3 for hanging with us.
No
Okay.
problem. Next time we'll come
Yeah.
with my duct tape in my mouth.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging with us. I know we
Thank
were
you,
looking
M3.
at you, but we appreciate you, sir.
No, I appreciate you guys too, though. This was a good convo.
Yeah, we're gonna dedicate a song from King to all the girls I've loved before. You remember that joint? You don't remember that joint?
Yeah, he's
I was
crazy. But
thinking
listen,
more Drake. I was thinking more Drake.
Julio Iglesias.
right.
You going live, Jen? Right? You going
Yeah.
live on your page?
Yes.
Okay.
Going live. So
Meet
please
everybody
go
there. See you there in a few minutes.
subscribe, and
At 9.
also shout out to Jen. She's 100 away from being monetized or having a one part of it. And also shout out to Darrell. He's almost a little bit over 100 from being monetized.
Is
Shout
Darrell
out
in the chat?
no,
Yeah.
I don't know. He is. He was,
Well,
right?
he shouted us out earlier. I don't know if he's
Earlier.
still here, but he did
Yeah.
talk to. He said we
And
were
also,
like.
and also shout out to E Black. I still got love for you and I respect you, but I'm gonna have to do some straightening on the Block with Jen page. Thank you.
He can come up if he wants, by the way.
He should come up, because he should.
Can come up.
He really should. So go and get E Black and make sure, let's pack the room up. I want everybody there. All right. Take care, everybody. And Hanifa Mayat, I know I got messy
Bye,
at the end.
Hanifa. Bye,
Don't get mad at me.
Right.
All right. So anyway,
Bye.
they make me feel so bad sometimes. With they looks, they make me so bad. Anyway, I gotta go. And tomorrow we're gonna catch you up to date. So we're gonna go to the next page. Peace.
I'll be on.
All right. Thank you for bringing me on the platform.